think we're good. Let's get rid of the restream open. Restream chat. Try to put it right next to my game so that way I don't miss anybody's stream. Let me also get Gonna let everybody know I'm streaming. There we go. There we go. We begin. It begins. But what do I want to play? What game do I want to play on the SNES? Let's see what we got here. Honestly, like All-Stars. All-Stars is probably the move because I've been really enjoying it, actually. It's been really fun. Why don't I hear anything? Hold on. Okay. Ah, there we go. Now I hear it. Okay. Why is my controller not working? Oh, I remember because I changed the input. Up, left, down, right, B, A, Y, X, start, select, L, R. Okay, done. The old school controller, we're back in. I was playing Super Mario 2, I believe. Okay. Yeah, our show's going to start soon. And we're just going to play some classic games till the show starts. And I got some stuff. I got some cool stuff. Whoop, whoop. All right. What other SNES games should I even be playing? Like, I feel like these are fabulous games to play. Oh. Let's see what's in here. Just another one of these. Oh my goodness. That wasn't worth it. That wasn't worth it at all. All right, let's take that. Is there any... Need that. Need that, need that. Need that. All right. Whoop. Okay. Ugh. What do those cherries do exactly? Is it just like points? Oh, fuck. All right, got that. Do we go through here? Okay. How are y'all doing? You guys tuning in early? How's my chat? Is it doing okay? I think I'm supposed to, Come on. What do those do? All right. Looking good. And like I said, oh, die. Oh boy. Got lucky there. Yeah. Okay, get it. What? All right. We're going to pretend that didn't happen. and that I actually know what I'm doing in this game. All right. Okay, that's a life. That's good. Okay, all right, 1 life. Oh, darn. Oh, it's still 2 up. Not bad. So we got what, 9 lives? Great, fabulous. All right. Yeah. TechVR says yes, much knowledge. Yes, I know so much about this game. Oh yeah, I definitely expert, if you will. Expert. I definitely know what I'm doing, I promise. This is just another one of these. Let me guess. Turtle shell? Yep, turtle shell. Well, that didn't have the desired effect. There's only 2 here. Oh, come on. Ah, now it's only 1. Damn it. Give me that. I need that. Okay, let's see here. DaxSage9117 says, I will admit I want to see when the Epstein files come out all the politicians on the list try to weasel their way out of explaining the association with that man. I will say, though, the only person I can make an excuse for on the list is Stephen Hawking, because he had no idea what was going on, and he probably was held hostage by his wheelchair and forced to go. Yeah, I don't know much about it, other than, yeah, I mean, it's like one of those really gross situations. I do know that. Oh, God damn it! I made the same mistake. Local admin says, LOL, Trump's FBI burned the files. True. So I'm not a conspiracy theorist, right? I'm going to tell you that right now. I always require like hard facts and evidence. So take what I am saying with like the biggest grain of salt ever. But come on, fucker. But basically, oh, Jesus. God damn. All right. Through the door. But basically, what I believe could be happening is I have a feeling that Donald Trump is being paid by some adversary to the United States. Because why would he... Like, he keeps arguing for programs that cause a ton of harm to the United States. And it's like consistent. Like, basically whatever he is doing, if he just did the exact opposite, it would be better for the United States. And it's like, well, Donald Trump is no stranger to like appealing to people because they have money. So it's like, what? God damn it, dude. It's like, I am almost suspecting foul play here. Am I crazy? God damn it. Am I crazy in thinking that? DarkSage9117 says, everyone, those who know Epstein should be condemned. Me, Stephen Hawking did nothing wrong and was held hostage by his computer and wheelchair and forced to be friends with Epstein. But am I crazy in saying that, like, I think I'm suspecting foul play with Donald Trump? I mean, am I crazy in thinking that? This is not good. I need to get the hell out of here. I don't like this. Go. Okay. I have 1 life. Rain says, ew, liberal. Oh boy. Go. Oh my God. Bro. DarkSage9117 says, I'm an Eisenhower Republican, to be honest. He is my all-time favorite president. Very underappreciated. Eisenhower? Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a lot to say about that. I'll be honest. I don't know enough about Eisenhower to really say anything about the guy. I should probably learn more about him. Older presidents and such. Rain says, do you mean foul play from the sleazeball that told you a 10-year-old that he would date her? Yes. Bro, what is going on with this? There's so many enemies here. I should have taken the left path. Jack says Eisenhower was mid. Yeah, like I said, I don't know much enough about Eisenhower to really say for sure whether or not he was like a good president or not a good president. Come on. Okay. I think I can. Oh boy. Come on. Okay. Go this direction. Okay. All right. God, this is kind of tedious. Ah, oh, fuck me, dude. All right. Put this guy over. Oh shit. Oh my god. Bro. Lord Admin says, I for one like the new president Krasnov. All right, well it does look like that we're about ready to start. So it is 6:27. So I'm going to go ahead and start it. You probably see my thing in the sidebar there, so let's get it going. Start. Let everybody know that I'm starting the event. It begins the event. Let's get the headset working. Okay, that's working, but I have to close out of Discord because it does that every single time. Don't know why, but it does. Discord. I got some notes. I got some stuff to share with y'all. All right. All right. How you doing, Daniel?
So could be better.
Could be better.
Wasn't the best of days, but you know, yes, it always could be worse. You need to be an optimist in this life.
Bobro is saying, hey, yo, remember to like the video. I appreciate that, Bobro. Thank you. Yes, do like the video. I'm playing I'm playing some games here. I'm gonna share my scene. It's gonna be main.
Let me open the YouTube.
I appreciate that. Turn on the camera.
Always in the background.
It is not showing my camera because it is not the correct camera. It would probably help to start the virtual camera. There. Okay. I have to fight.
There you go.
I have to fight this. I have to fight Birdo.
I mean, dude, I'm still disappointed you're not playing the game that I sent you.
I will, man. Just.
I don't know. It's like you're avoiding me. Like, I just feel like very disrespected, to be honest.
Bro, I'm getting.
What game is this?
You don't know what game this is?
No idea.
This is Mario 2.
Oh, I've never played Mario 2.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, come on. Anything? Nothing. I got nothing. Jack says, I see why Hume is a pessimist. He thinks souls don't exist. I don't think souls exist.
I actually do. I don't think they exist yet.
Yeah, like why would they exist? Can't empirically show them to exist. We just kind of say, I think they could exist, but then like not have any like backing as to whether or not they actually exist. And it's like, souls don't exist. I don't know what to tell you. All right.
I mean, I would be happy to be proven wrong.
I got some stuff. I got some stuff to share, right? That I think would be interesting, that you would enjoy, and I think the crowd will enjoy as well. So here we go. Ready?
Go.
Give me a moment. Okay. So one of the most common things that I get like on my YouTube channel and like just commentary in general is they really don't like that I am so antagonistic towards people like Andrew Wilson. Right? Do you,
He's such a nice person.
Daniel, do you know why I'm antagonistic towards him? Like, does it make sense to you?
Maybe because he's a piece of crap human being. Yeah, I mean, that would make sense. Yes, I'm very antagonistic to human garbage. Yes.
So it's like, that's the thing, right? Like they say that I need to be respectful towards, well, if I plan other people to respect people like trans people, right? I ought be respectful towards others who are antagonistic towards trans people, right? Because it would be, effectively opposite of what I want to achieve. But this is kind of the thing, right? Like these people, they have grifted. They have made money by crapping on a minority of people and wanting to remove the rights of a minority of people. They inflame the fear that people hold by just doing that over and over. And it's like, for me, I'm just like, I can't respect this person. This person's a monster, right? Like that's from my, from my idea, right? And it's like, there is no respect to be given to this individual. I don't know why this is popping in my head. Have you ever seen Puss in Boots 2? Have you seen this movie?
Yes.
What did you think of that movie? Did you like it?
I don't remember the plot, but yeah, probably did because
they like
Puss in Boots.
Good. All right. Okay? What about do you remember Jiminy Cricket? In the,
I don't think I saw that ever.
I mean, Jiminy Cricket in the in Puss in Boots 2, and how he was talking to what is his name? I'm trying to remember. Jack was the bad guy, I think. Oh man, I'm trying to remember. No, not Jack. Hold on. What was his name? I don't know why I'm. Bobro says, was it the one with Death and the wolf death? Yes.
Yeah. I don't think I saw that one. Oh yeah, no.
Oh my God, you gotta watch it.
My kids went by themselves.
You gotta watch it. I know
it's good. I don't know. I never got in.
You gotta watch it.
I never got to watch it.
Yeah. Jack.
I know it's good.
Okay.
I know it's
Rain got it. Jack Horner. Right, with the plums.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's a scene, and I'm gonna pause it a bunch because I don't want to like piss off DreamWorks or whatever. I'm gonna share it, and I promise you this does tie in. It does. So just give me 1 second. I'm gonna show you real quick. Let me see here. I'm trying to. Hold on. Give me a moment. Hold on. All right, hold on a sec. I'm trying to.
Sweet.
Shit. I think. See, I want the full thing. I want the. There's like a part. Give me a quick second, okay? I'm gonna find it.
The Jack Horner and Jiminy Cricket thingy. Said.
Okay, all right. I think this is it. Okay, I believe this is it. So I'm gonna share it. Let me set up the stream going in so you can see it or at least hear it if you're just like in the Discord. But I want everybody else to see it as well, so I'm gonna show it on stream. Hold on. It's right here for Chrome. God, I'm sorry. I'm just moving so many parts.
That's fine, man.
Okay, do you see? Hopefully you see it.
Yeah, I see it.
All right.
Wait, mother of goose, Jack!
All right. So, like, this is a part. Okay, so Jiminy Cricket is apparently talking to Jack Horner, right? And Jack Horner just, like, sacrificed, like, 10... There's, like, 10 bakers, the baker's dozen. And he just, like, sacrificed, like, 11 of them, just, like, walking over them over a cliff to help him get over the cliff. And Jiminy Cricket is reacting to the fact that he just sacrificed his own men just so he could get ahead just a little bit, right? And so here we go.
Well, you know what they say. Can't bake a pie without losing a dozen men.
Oh, that was horrible! Your wish is horrible! You're horrible! You're an irredeemable monster!
Whoa, what took you so long, idiot?
So, like, here's the thing, right? Like, Jiminy Cricket, right? He basically started off, like, trying to talk to Jack Horner. Like, oh, I bet there's something good in you, right? Like I bet you, we could work on who you are as a person and it'll be, it's like better, right? But it's like very clear that Jack Horner is like not a good guy, right? Like he'd never been a good guy and he was never going to be a good guy. And it's like, like the realization that Jiminy Cricket holds, he's just like, wait, you're actually an irredeemable monster. You're like I can't actually work with you, right? Because it's like you're completely irredeemable. That's basically the way that I observe like a guy like Andrew Wilson, because it's like I'm watching his stuff, right, and he's just consistently just grifting off of people suffering. Like this guy is literally the equivalent of I would probably say at the equivalent of like the Nestle Corporation, albeit I'll give you that the Nestle Corporation is orders of magnitude, more people affected. At the same time, it's like he's basically just like a smaller version of the Nestle Corporation, but he doesn't even have an LLC to like hide behind. He's just like being an irredeemable monster. And it's like, I'm supposed to like, what, get along with this guy? Like I'm supposed to like, oh, let's respect his opinion. Let's treat them like they're good people. Like, no, I'm not doing that. Why the hell would I do that? The guy's a monster. Like, this is kind of what I'm saying here. And
I think you kind of hit the nail in the head. It's like, are there any redeemable qualities to a person? Because let's say somebody can hold a specific position that is bad, but it's they might just be wrong, right? It's like they've been convinced of a specific position, right? Those people can still be saved, right? I mean, sort of, right? It's like they can. You can still convince them otherwise.
But how do you save a guy like Andrew Wilson? Seriously, how do you like?
But Andrew Wilson is not, right. It's I can't just ignore the fact that he's been told certain things multiple times. He's been educated on certain topics multiple times, and he keeps ignoring them, right?
Yes.
It's like he's being proven wrong once, he just ignores it, and the second time he goes into a debate, he's peddling the same shit over and over again. Well, so I cannot have any type of respect for such a person.
Well, and what gets even worse is that a guy like Planet Peterson. Do you know who Planet Peterson is? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I mean, I heard about him. Yeah.
Planet Peterson.
I don't know exactly who he is, but I've heard about him.
Yeah, he's a guy. He basically likes to debate people who they basically go against like some mainstream science stuff. It's usually like, flat earthers or young earth creationists.
Oh, yeah,
he's that kind of guy.
That's what I know him from.
Right.
And from creationism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's really good at what he does. He's recently getting more and more of a following. I followed him, I think when he had, 4,000 or 5,000 subs. So, now he's sitting at like what, 26,000 or something. It's pretty amazing, good guy. And he was actually talking about Andrew Wilson. They were talking about like what he does. And it's like the stuff that he has done is, I mean, he was basically saying he doesn't actually provide any argument, right? All he does is just say your argument is bad and that's it. And then moves on. Like he doesn't actually have any like real, like why his system would be better. And the problem is like, he's even arguing for like some of the most disgusting crap ever. And what's like the worst part about it is that he's got like a huge team of just people that, they basically, anybody that goes against Andrew Wilson, right? They just basically get a giant hate mob going after them, right? Every time, and that's at least what happened regarding my channel, where that's actually why you see like there's so much on my comments of just people hating on me. Like unironically, it's literally people that come from Andrew Wilson's side just showing up to try to discourage me and anybody else who argues for like basic human rights and liberties. Like I'm not even kidding. That's unironically what is happening. Jack says,
I understand. Yeah.
I've also watched Andrew Wilson debate 2 high schoolers on TikTok live stream once. Curious what you thought about it, Jack. I really am. This is the current topic. I do also have other topics. Am I going to die? Yes, I die.
Yep. There you go.
How was I supposed to know?
Foreshadowing.
How was I supposed to know?
But coming back to the question that you asked initially, right? It's like, as people were telling you, it's like, oh, but it's like, how can you ask for respect for other people, but you don't respect these people? It's like, okay, should we respect every position and every person that holds any position ever? Should we respect people like Hermann Göring, for example, or Joseph Goebbels, or Hitler, or Stalin, or Mao, or like, should we just respect them? I don't think people can hold this position that they will just respect them.
Yeah,
there isn't. Some people go beyond that, right? It's like it's one thing to have a bad position. It's another thing to be the bad position.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think people like Andrew Wilson are the bad position.
Rain,
right? They're peddling it to the extent where they're literally making people's lives harder and worse just by existing.
Yeah. Rain says it was kind of a shit show though. J. Mike was calling in anonymously, challenging Planet Peterson to describe what the mechanism is for natural selection. Yeah, I mean, like Peterson, I mean, like he's arguing on the basis of like facts and research, and like I would love to see the Andrew Wilson debate and Peterson, because what's going to end up happening is, and I guarantee you, like Peterson is already getting a slew of just negative feedback that's just coming from people who just, they don't like anybody that goes against Andrew Wilson in any way, right? His freaking God King. They literally treat him like this, almost like a messianic figure of like hate. And like these other people, like I just believe that they themselves are like, are quite miserable. And they're just like, okay, well, I'm miserable. And so I'm going to follow somebody and be miserable with this other person who's also miserable. Like that's basically what I got out of it.
The chain of misery. Yes.
Wait, is that an actual thing? Like, where
probably
where a person is like, just wants to be super, bro, I am trash at this game. Listen, don't. Rain says, I really like J. Mike, but only when he's being honest. He gets filibro-y on smaller creators. Who is J. Mike? I don't know J. Mike. Do you know J. Mike?
I don't know who J. Mike is.
I don't know who J. Mike is. Bruh, just hit the fucking thing. Okay, I'm sorry. I tried to be in the center.
J. Mike is he like what? Like a creationist or something?
I don't know.
I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up.
TechVR says misery loves company. It's 100%. Completely agree with you there. Anyway, so like,
wait a second. J. Mike, I see this guy is on the atheist experience. I'm assuming he's an atheist. I'm assuming he's not a creationist. So why was he shitting on Planet Peterson and asking him to prove?
No clue.
Okay, this is weird. Okay, so J Mike looks. to
J Mike is a
be-
frequent host on the Atheist Experience,
Yeah,
is what Rain is saying.
exactly.
Well, so the issue that I mean, just going back to it, right? Why do you not respect people who are, when really I'm requesting respect from, regarding the trans community and, LGBTQ plus people? Well, the answer is simple. I don't respect people who want to revoke basic rights from other people, and I'm perfectly okay with being incredibly antagonistic towards people that want to get away with, want to revoke people's basic human rights, right? Because, like, at the end of the day, right, Andrew Wilson, he is a Christian nationalist. He wants to basically create a theocratic reign, or like maybe he wants it to be community led, whether it not, either way, it ends up arguing in favor of a theocracy. And it's like, why would you respect a guy like that? Why would you follow a guy like that? The guy's a monster.
Yeah.
I thought I could land
I
on
know.
that.
Well, you thought wrong.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I did think wrong.
You need to think better, man. What can I tell you?
You're correct. You're all right about that. Okay, so all right. I want to take you through some stuff that I have here. All right. I got some other stuff for you. Rain says true, but there are good and bad ways of going about it. I mean, maybe the way I'm going about it is bad. We'll see what happens. I mean, I've had a lot of people that really, really hate me and whatnot, and I get it. I completely understand why people would not like me. That's fine. To me, that doesn't bother me. Like, I hate acting as if that we need to treat these people with love and respect when it's like they can't do that at all. Okay, so here, check out this article I have here. U.S. aid workers will be given 15 minutes to clear their workspaces as the agency gets dismantled. Right, thousands of U.S.
Isn't that
agency.
also like a bit illegal?
Yeah, probably. This has never been done before. No one's ever tried this, but they're doing it. Anyway, we have thousands of U.S. agency for international development workers who've been fired or placed on leave as part of the Trump administration dismantling of the agency in a brief window on Thursday and Friday to clear out their workspaces. USAID placed 4,080 staffers who work across the globe on leave Monday. That was joined by a reduction of force that will affect another 1,600 employees, a State Department spokesperson said in an emailed response to questions. Has anybody ever asked exactly what USAID does?
I mean, I don't think they care. It's like, you need to understand this. Like, the reason they're doing this is because they want to create a scapegoat.
Yeah.
And to say, oh, you see, this is where the government inefficiency comes from.
Yeah.
Because in the meantime, while you're reading that news, right? Maybe you're not paying attention to the fact that in the House of Representatives, right, there was a vote on the budget.
Yeah.
And in this budget vote, they requested a downsizing of the budget for what was it, Medicaid, right?
Yeah.
Of 800
Classic,
something
beautiful,
billion
perfect.
dollars.
Yeah, sure.
They also requested the Department of Agriculture to make a downsizing of the budget of like 200 and something $billion too,
Yeah.
right? So what that will mean, let's be very clear about it. It will mean those 800 millions from the healthcare, they're going to be cut from Medicaid.
Yes.
Okay, so just keep in mind. Remember, 70 million Americans, okay, are on Medicaid. 70.
Yeah. I mean,
million,
I'm
okay?
really hoping
And yeah,
that
the
they
200
don't.
million
I mean,
something-
regarding the Medicaid thing, that's a whole other nightmare to talk about. But I guess what I wanted to kind of focus on is specifically what exactly does USAID do, right? Because it's
Soft
upon us
power.
to find out what exactly like do they offer, right, to the United States, right? So I'm gonna list some of the things that they have done, right, and then we'll all be the smarter for it. Okay. They have been involved in Ukraine from 2022 present. USAID has provided billions of humanitarian aid, which includes food, medical supplies, and emergency support following Russia's invasion. They have provided towards the Haiti earthquake. USAID led disaster response efforts, providing emergency shelter, food, and medical assistance after a devastating 7.0 earthquake. They have addressed the Ebola crisis in West Africa from 2014 to 2016. They helped contain the Ebola outbreak and funded medical treatment centers and training healthcare workers. They have global health initiatives where the President's Emergency Plan of AIDS Relief, or what's called PEPFAR. The USAID played a key role in combating HIV/AIDS, saving millions of lives in Africa. COVID-19 vaccine distribution. They help distribute vaccines globally, especially in low-income countries. There's a malaria eradication efforts. USAID's President Malaria Initiative has reduced malaria and deaths in African countries. They had also supported actively the Arab Spring. They funded civil society organizations in Tunisia and Egypt to promote democratic reforms. They have also put funding into Afghanistan from 2001 to 2021, where they invested in infrastructure, education, and governance, though unfortunately much of that work had collapsed after the Taliban's return to power. They had enacted the Power Africa movement from 2013 to present. They aimed to expand the electricity access in sub-Saharan Africa and supported renewable energy products. And then they had done the Feed the Future initiative, working to combat global hunger and malnutrition, especially in Africa and South Asia. Right? Now, with that being said, USAID is also sometimes criticized for being a tool of U.S. foreign policy, such as like funding opposition groups in Venezuela and Cuba, but it has basically undeniably played a major role in global development efforts. So what's happening here, right, for USAID is let's just cut to the chase. It's reducing human death and suffering. It is, right? Empirically, I can show that is in fact what they are doing. And so I guess like I'm having a hard time, like, why do we want to get rid of this? Like, this actually helps the United States, like in the long run, because it's like you're talking about that we go to these foreign countries when we want them to do something like that we want them to do. We could actually use USAID as a bargaining chip. We can basically say, hey, listen, in order to have like these favorable trade deals in the future, right, you need to give us some consolidation, because we've got, we're sending you millions and millions of dollars through USAID, and they're not going to want that to like end, right? So
yeah, I mean that's why USAID is the soft power tool of the State Department.
Yes, 100%.
They can do that, and this is a tool for the US to actually spread their influence on the world stage, right? Instead of just sending the military in, you're sending USAID.
Yes.
Right, and they're doing this and that, and maybe sometimes obviously it's used also for like some, let's say, less than nice goals. Okay, when you're spreading this influence, yes, I can understand that, but that also makes it like a very good target for somebody like Elon Musk and Donald Trump, because it's very easy to lie about what USAID is doing. Right, it's very easy to say, "Oh, we've sent $50 million for condoms in Gaza." We send $50 million for condoms.
Is that
to
something
Hamas,
that they attributed to USAID?
Yeah, of course, they said that, and then it's from 50 million, it went up to 100 million.
Because no condoms went to those countries. They're just
lying.
Yeah,
it's very simple.
The condoms are used elsewhere. So, okay, I guess like now that my concern is that, okay, hold on. They're taking a bargaining chip and then they're basically reducing the power of the United States, like on a world stage level. And it's like, now I know you tend to not be very aligned with the United States, but I mean, you at least can understand that I'm in the United States. It benefits the United States to invest in USAID, and so that way that like, even just from like just a very selfish standpoint, the reality is that it benefits us for that to be there, right? Obviously it's a bargaining chip. Like, why would we not?
I'm gonna tell you from my perspective, it's like I'm kind of against like a lot of imperial, American imperialism, and
Yeah.
I see the dismantling of USAID is kind of furthering that goal of lessening the imperialism of the USA, right, on the world stage, and is not that bad. The problem is that you're jumping from that to cutting Medicaid. You're jumping from that to also dismantling the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. That is literally, is the one entity that is kind of like not letting banks fuck the regular guy, right? And they're pretending to be the ones that care about the regular guy, the working man. Well, they're not doing that. They're not doing that if you're dismantling an office that's literally is making sure you're not going to get scammed by your bank.
But like, here's the thing, right? Like, even you can agree that going to third world countries and trying to like prevent diseases and trying to like fund agencies that like are ultimately they are beneficial for U.S. interests. But I mean, what it means in benefit of the U.S. interests is that it ultimately benefits a lot of people who wouldn't normally like humanitarian relief efforts for Haiti is a giant improvement over, say, like a country like China, where it's like they give predatory loans to these countries so that way they can like own them for their non-renewable resources.
Yeah, but you know what's happening right now, right?
What?
It's like the moment they dismantled the USAID, what this does, it
gives China more power.
Other countries, it allows other countries to say, "Oh, we're gonna step in," because, for example, like one of the first things Trump did was, get America out of the WHO. Okay, it's gonna take like a year or something. The problem is for WHO is that America is like one of the biggest funders, right? It's like you're literally giving money to the WHO, right? And they rely on the funding. Okay, so when Trump said, "Oh, we're just going to go away, we're not gonna care about the WHO anymore," what happened is like immediately after the announcement, like China was like, "Oh, don't worry, we'll find you. We'll give you the money. It doesn't matter. Don't worry. We know America is leaving. They're not gonna give you the money. We're gonna jump in and we're gonna give you the money." So you know who's gonna be on the forefront when the next pandemic comes?
China.
And they will come. It is China, right?
China. Like, why would they not?
China is going to be the one playing the biggest role in that, right? Instead of being America. And again, I feel like if you're somebody that is running on a platform of like America first, well, I don't know what that means, right? If what you're doing, if your actions are actually undermining America's influence on the world stage. Because that's not America first. Because as soon as you're doing
it's America last is what it is.
People are going to look at and they're going to say, "Holy shit, wait a second." It's like, we can't trust these people.
Yes, because
like,
the program can just end whenever.
If every 4 years, they're going to switch.
Exactly.
And some fucking nut is going to come and just say, "Nah, just fuck everything we said in the last 4 years. We're going to rip all the accords, all the deals we made with you guys." It's like, and we don't care about them. Right? I mean, just so you can understand how insane this is, man.
Yeah.
Right? It's like this is just like the epitome of insanity.
Yeah.
Right?
And
So
you know what
you
one
will- you
person
will hear Trump.
what one person is saying here? They're saying Iraqi Sesame Street, like saying that we're funding Sesame Street. Okay, what you're talking about, by the way, is the Iraqi like public broadcasting service, which is assisted with USAID. Like, again, this
Yeah, which is,
helps
again,
the
you're
United
spreading
States'
the culture of America.
Yes, you're spreading.
Like other
You're spreading the idea of like like United States is not your enemy; it's your friend, right? That's basically what it's doing. It's you understand that there's like the carrot and the stick. We're using the carrot here.
Yeah, I mean that's literally what it is. USAID is the carrot. It's
Yes.
not the stick. The stick is the U.S. Army, right?
Yes.
The Department of Defense.
Yes,
And
and
this is the carrot.
So what I'm
But,
watching right now.
I want to.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh,
So it's like just like because this image like got stuck in my head when I saw it, right? When it was, remember when they wanted to put this tariffs on Canada, right? And they eventually didn't put the tariffs because they got the Canadian government and Trudeau to actually restate what they already agreed on like months before that, right? And you could hear Trump saying it's like, because we need to remake these deals that we have with Canada. It's like the worst deal in history. Can you guess who signed the fucking deal with Canada?
Oh, it's Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. So Donald Trump is signing the deal with Canada, right? And 4 years later, he's saying that's the worst deal ever made. I don't know who did it. He's a dumbass.
It's like it was himself.
Himself. Deal.
It was himself. Like, what are we supposed? Like, what? What do you mean you did it? Bro, I am having the hardest time on this boss. I'm sorry.
What do you do? Yeah, I see. You're struggling.
Shut up,
this guy. No, what do you do with people like this, man? Oh man, holy shit.
Sorry. Stop making fun of me.
What do you do? What do you do? And especially with the fans of Trump that are looking at these things, and literally they're not seeing what's like literally in front of their faces.
No, not at all. I mean,
I don't know what more to do. It's like, should it hit you in your face and just like destroy half your face for you to be able to understand what's happening?
Leopards ate my face, bro.
Yeah, but it's like the leopards are eating their faces, they're hurting, and they're saying, nah, nothing's happening.
They're just like, this is fine.
Yeah, it's fine. That meme with like the dog sitting in the place that's like on fire, and he's just saying, it's like, yeah, everything's fine.
Ren says, why are you so bad? So, okay, here's the problem. Yes, I'm aware I'm not the best at Mario, but okay, but let me, like, I could play Dark Souls and I could do it just fine, right? I could play Cuphead and I will play just fine. I promise you, right? If you want me to play Cuphead, I can do that, right? I am physically capable of doing it. Anyway, sorry.
Everybody's physically capable to do it bad, like you're doing it right now. So stop pretending you're good, man.
Shut up.
You struggle with Malenia. It's like, come on. It's like,
yeah, of course I struggle. That's the hardest boss in the game.
You didn't even beat Gale.
Bobro said he isn't a real gamer. Oh my god damn it. What do you mean, Bo?
He isn't.
Yes, I am. Fuck
you're
you.
Not a real gamer.
Yes, I am.
You're not a real gamer.
I've been playing my whole life. I'm 35.
Dude,
I grew up with the Super Nintendo. You guys suck.
Super Mario
you guys suck.
No, we don't. It's like,
Athlete of the Year says, what's the
games.
propaganda for tonight? Oh, man, dude, I got some propaganda for you. What an amazing segue. Athlete, we got the best segue for you. It's coming, all right? You want to see some propaganda? I'm about to feed it for you, all right? Here it comes, baby bird. Open your mouth wide open because holy crap. Okay. Maybe some of you have already seen this, but we need to talk about it. All right. We need to talk about it. And I'm going to stream it on in Discord as well so you can see it. I want everybody to see this. This is important. Okay?
What is that?
What is this? This is Truth Social. Okay? Truth Social is the platform that was made by Donald Trump. Or rather, he hired some people to make it. And Donald Trump posts on Truth Social all the time. And so here is a post by Donald Trump himself. Okay, this is Donald Trump's post. Donald Trump did this. Okay, ready? Here we go.
Donald is coming to set you free, bringing the light for all to see. No more tunnels, no more fear. Trump Gaza is finally here.
Hold on. Just to pause real quick. We're going to pause for a second.
Well, I like this trans man.
What do you...
Trans women.
Trump posted this, right? Trump,
like this
it's been up for 2 days. All right. Anyway, we'll just ignore that and keep going.
Trump Gaza is finally here. Trump Gaza shining bright. Golden future, a brand new light. Feast and dance, the deal is done. Trump Gaza, number one. Trump Gaza, shining bright. Golden future, a brand new light. Feast and dance, the deal is done. Trump Gaza, number one.
And that was
All
him and Netanyahu next to the dude. No way. I haven't seen this. Like,
You haven't seen this?
No, this is like next level shit, dude.
All right.
Wow.
So I want to just put everybody right into reality world. And it's going to get a little dark, so I apologize. Trigger warning. I want to put everybody into a reality world, and then I'm going to respond to this video because I don't think I can properly respond to this video unless everybody is aware of this. Okay? I want everybody to be aware of this. This is important. Credible source, right? Credible source. UN experts say famine has spread throughout Gaza. So, I just want to be clear, right? What are we doing? We want to...
إحساس صعب إني شايفة ابني قدام عيني قاعد عم بيموت من سوء التغذية لأني مش قادرة أوفر له أي حاجة بسبب الحرب وبسبب إغلاق المعابر بسبب المي الملوثة وابني كان طبيعي قبل.
I just want to be clear, right? Donald Trump and Elon Musk want to make a Vegas 2.0 over Gaza. And what we have right now is starving children. Right? They're dying of malnutrition. We're going to sit here and we're going to say, right? I had somebody online, right, who told me that Trump wanting to turn Gaza into Vegas 2.0 is based. What do you mean? Dude, there are kids dying. Hey, how about we start with step freaking zero? Step zero, bro. Step zero is, hey, why don't we get some food? You think this is cool? Is this fun? Is this fun for you? You guys like this? Yeah, I don't like this. Do you like this, Daniel? You have kids. Could you even imagine?
We respect people that hold these ideas that we shouldn't care about starving children. I mean, we should respect them, right?
They have, like, these children didn't vote Hamas. They didn't vote for Hamas. Okay? And here's the problem, right? And we're sitting here, we have this stupid idiot president, this stupid moron president doing this. He is not in reality. What am I supposed to say about this? This guy is a monster. These people are monsters. How am I supposed to treat people who try to defend this? What is this? Right? We're talking about starving children, and you want to what? You want to make some stupid a Vegas 2.0 that's got like Trump balloons?
Yeah, but keeping this in mind, because it's like what they want to do. They want to first do the ethnic cleansing, which is like they want to remove all the Palestinians from Gaza. That's why he was trying to talk with like Egypt and who was it, Jordan, right? To take all the people from Gaza, which both Egypt and Jordan said, no, we're not going to do that.
So then we have, right, like I've had some people tell me that this is an old article, July 9th of 2024. Maybe the famine is still not there. Well, I got news for you.
Oh, no, it is.
Generation at risk, food crisis in Gaza and elsewhere, millions of children in danger of lifelong harm. This is January 31st of 2025. So no, it is still happening today. The same exact thing is still happening today, right? And so we're going to sit here and we're going to say our priorities is to make to make a Vegas 2.0 idea. Again, like, what do you think is easier? Getting food and water to people who need it, or making turning it into like a real estate magnet? Like, seriously, like, put your priorities straight. Like, what would you rather have? Would you rather have a stupid, Vegas 2.0 kind of, like, there was a lot of gold in there as well. Like, you're going to tell me that you're going to make that as opposed to like, hey, why not get them some food for starters? Like, really freaking simple. This is not a difficult concept. Why in the world are we acting like that this is appropriate, right? I've got people defending it in my chat right now, right? You have to start with hope and a vision. This is what they see like a heaven. They're saying, no, that's why we want to change it. Bro, step zero, food. Right? Before you consider making your like weird real estate like dreams come true, why not let's get them some food? Right? Like I'm not even anti-Israel, right? I'm actually in favor of Israel, but I definitely don't like Netanyahu and what he's doing. And like, we're going to sit here and pretend that this is even remotely appropriate. And there's other people saying, oh, well, this is, this is just, this is Trump's dream. Bro, that's a nightmare, dude. This isn't cool, dude. There's people dying, and you want to like make a profit off of it with like with like some stupid real estate idea. Seriously. What do you think about this, Daniel?
I don't know. It's like I didn't see that before you showed it.
You never seen that
showed it to
before?
me. I'm just flabbergasted. No, I'm just like the fact that I knew what their plan was. Okay, the thing is, like, Jared Kushner said this like years ago. Okay, so it's not like they haven't talked about their plan of just like leveling Gaza and getting all the real estate. Because they've always been talking about like, oh, it's such a nice place, on the seaside, and it's like
fucking
the climate
so
is
gross.
nice, and we
So
can build
gross.
this and that. Yeah, of course it's gross. Of course
Gross.
it's gross. But they don't care, because these are they don't care about people. All they care is about their well-being. It's like as long as they can make $1 billion, doesn't matter. It's like you can die, not a problem. And it's like as long as they're willing to have Americans die by cutting Medicaid, they're fine. They're fine. Let's not forget, like one of the last news of last year was the guy that killed the CEO in New York. Okay, due to the situation of the healthcare in the United States, and they want to make it worse. They don't want to make it better. They don't want more Americans to have healthcare. So if they don't care about Americans, how would they care about people in Gaza? How would they care about Palestinians? Of course they don't. They don't care. Because for them it's a game, and they're the game masters, and they're just like a pawn, right? If you just lose a pawn, if a pawn dies, if a pawn breaks, you just get another one. It's all good.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just it's honestly really upsetting because like I did have other people in here that they called the video based, and I just don't understand the mentality. I really don't. I don't get it.
Because it's not happening to them.
But I
If
don't.
that were
What
happening
do you?
to
Who
them,
cares if it's not
they would-
happening?
they would
Like
see
if
it
you
different.
see suffering happening around you, right? Can't you, empathize maybe?
Well, not all people. And I think there was like this study last year where it actually showed that, especially for conservative types, they care more about just like their immediate surrounding rather than anything that's like further away from their circle. So they don't really care, right? It's like they care about themselves, their family, and maybe their friends, right? So if these things don't impact one of those groups, they don't really care.
So I come into like I'm coming into like the thought, and it keeps happening over and over, that Donald Trump is the perfect candidate to receive money from some foreign oligarch to destroy the United States. Like, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, right? Don't paint me as that. But what I am seeing is that he consistently is doing things that is making life worse for people. And that's people here. And you telling me that like, oh, he's, as long as it doesn't affect him and his friends, well, that would coincide with kind of like my hypothesis here, right? I'm not saying it's true, but I am concerned. I am concerned about what I'm observing here. So I just, yeah, Rain says empathy. Trump Gaza, like, bro, ew. It's so gross. Like,
No, but that's it. I mean, it's so clear. It's so in your face, right? I mean, they're showing it, man. When people tell you who they are, believe them.
Athlete of
And
the
they're
Year
showing
says
exactly who they are.
Trump can't be bought. It's not the money. I got news for you, bro.
He's already been bought.
After reading Trump's or books regarding Donald Trump, and this was like both favorable and unfavorable of him. I have come to the conclusion this guy is the ultimate grifter. He is Grifter 9000. He will absolutely, like, do you really believe that Donald Trump wouldn't sink huge, like it might not even sink the United States, knowing he can get like, say, 500 million from like the Kremlin? Seriously, I'm not making that up, right? Do you honestly believe that Donald Trump would not do that if given the chance? 500 million, something as tiny as 500 million. If he got 500 million liquid cash, I'm curious if Donald Trump would take that money, right? Throw it into his various businesses, never get caught, right? And then just do exactly what Russia wants them to do. Why not? Right? Donald Trump has already shown that he doesn't. Donald Trump has already shown that he doesn't really care about other people and what he thinks of them, right? He's already shown that. He's shown that he's perfectly okay with harming other people just for his own benefit in the past, right? Throughout his career, he's done exactly this. He's screwed over tons of people, contractors, people who he's dealt with in business. As long as he can actually get some advantage out of it, he's perfectly okay with this. So why would he not be okay with like taking a deal from the Kremlin or something? Like, why not? Or China or any of these countries that have money that would be willing to throw $1 billion at him. Like, why not? I'm not making this up. Like, it's not a stretch, to operate this concept. Anyway, we got a couple of people that do want to speak, so I'm going to go ahead and let them in. Dylan, you're being invited to speak. Dylan, you're muted.
Hey, Amanda.
How you doing?
Hey,
Give me 1 quick second, okay?
Yep, you got it. I'm driving anyway, so I'm gonna space it at you this.
Sorry, just give me a sec. Oh shit, I'm not even recording. I'll download it later, not a big deal.
Oh God.
Dylan, you're being invited to speak. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. So it's getting warmer over here in the Northeast, so it's getting good.
What did you want to talk about?
Specifically, I wanted to talk about two things. Number one was share my opinion about what you were just saying, the violation of human rights that Trump has been doing in his own country, and then talking about how let's show no empathy for other people's human rights and for their humanity either in another place, Trump Gaza, 2025. But I wanted to also talk about RFK because no one has been talking about that after he's been confirmed. But if you have been paying attention with the measles outbreak in Texas, right,
yes,
RFK came out to say, right, it's not a big deal. It happens every year.
What do you mean, measles?
Measles happens every year.
Yeah, not typically. Got news for you, bro.
Not typically, especially when we're talking about that many deaths this year. Also, in the Senate confirmation, he said that he was not interested in changing the CDC's vaccine schedule. The first thing he does as the health services secretary is tell all of the employees of the health services that he will now be checking the vaccine schedule and seeing to make any changes. When he said he was not going to touch it. Completely anti-vax from the first day in office, right? Completely anti-vax. And completely against... And you know what's even funny, Amanda?
Yeah.
Did you know that in the measles outbreak? Do you know where the measles outbreak is actually happening?
The measles outbreak? Where in Texas?
It's happening in a Mennonite county. So people who aren't vaccinated.
Yeah, of course.
because that doesn't make any sense, right? It's only vaccinated people that get sick, right?
Yeah,
And then that causes
sure.
problems. I just wanted to see what your opinion was on that, since no one has been talking about RFK.
I mean, obviously, like, I think RFK, you know, is very clear. Like, I remember that there was a part where RFK apparently, you know, had on a website for sale babies that specific baby clothing that specifically says that they're unvaxxed. Like, it's very clear their intentions, right? And it's like, I'm astonished that he even got the position, considering that his anti-science grifting agenda. Like,
It's actually not that surprising, right? Because it's not surprising from like a political science sense, because the Republicans there was bipartisan issues with Kennedy, with almost all of the confirmations. Actually, I think all of them have, except for Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio was the only one that flew with flying colors, because he's already an experienced guy. He's worked across the aisle. I actually agreed with Marco Rubio as a Secretary of State. I think that was probably the best choice we could have gotten for the State Department. But the senators, the Republican Senate wants to hold on to this Republican majority, right?
Yeah.
So they don't really want to go against Trump. They want to take advantage of these 2 years where they have all powers of government, right? Because they know that in midterms, they will lose. I'm telling you right now. They think that they will win. They're not.
Okay, so I've got some comments, and I like reading the hater comments as much as the ones, you know, that are in my favor, right? We've got Tim Hobart, who says, the comments reveal the depth of poor social ideology on the channel. And Grant Howard says, I'm surprised your beta survived eating Tide Pods. You know, I got news for you, man. I feel like I'm a pretty educated guy. You know, I know what I'm talking about when it comes to a lot of different topics. And I wouldn't go out of my way to eat Tide Pods. But if you particularly disagree with me for whatever reason, the link is right there. Discord.gg/modern day debate. Show up on stream. Show that you're not some random NPC that just sits there in keyboard warriors all day long. Let's have the debate, right? If I'm wrong about something, I want to hear it, right? I want to understand what exactly I'm wrong about, right? Because the basis of my arguments come from facts, right? Facts, reason, the science, the logic, right? That's where it comes from. So if you have anything in rebuttal to say, right, and all you're going to do is keyboard warrior, I mean, you're just wasting your time. Sorry, go ahead. But
yeah, no, I think I never knew that you needed to eat Tide Pods in order to understand that Trump Gaza was just not was a good thing. I didn't know. I just didn't know. I didn't know we were part of those people. But I am going to ask you something that maybe you're kind of a little bit against, since we agree so much on so many other things. What do you think about Christian ethics and its effect on the society of the world? Your hot takes don't really focus on like Christianity and sorts of like in terms of the place in society. It's more about like just the religion in general is a bad thing because it's false. So what do you think about the ethical structure?
I don't like the ethical structure. I think it's wrong. Yeah.
Okay. What part of Christian ethics is wrong?
Well, for starters, there's aspects of the Bible that are commonly used among Christians, and I'll give you in my honest opinion, it's mostly Old Testament. But the problem that I have is that Christians commonly, you know, cite verses in order to spread hate, right? And it's quite commonly coming from the Old Testament. They often will ignore, you know, the peace parts that Jesus Christ said. And it ends up effectively being Christian ethics.
Do you know why that's the case, though? And this is actually the reason why, to some extent, I actually agree with Andrew Wilson, even though Andrew Wilson's a pretty bad debater. The difference, though, is your this opinion that you have about those Christian ethics is specifically Protestant Christian ethics. And the reason why it's different and why it's specifically Protestants, meaning Protestants in the U.S., right, or Protestants in like.
So you're just to be clear, right? You're an Orthodox,
right? It's
right?
because they believe in I'm Eastern Orthodox.
Okay.
So That's a very important thing to talk about when it comes to Christian ethics. But even so, when I point to Christian ethics, I'm talking about what I think is objectively true of what the Bible teaches as in terms of an ethical and moral
Okay.
right? What the Protestants do is when they separated from the church in the Reformation, they specifically adopted a concept called sola scriptura, which basically means only scripture. They adopted that the highest
Okay.
authority, right, in Christianity was
Yeah.
the actual Bible.
Such as an opposition to
That's
female clergy.
Correct. Well, that is still
Yeah, not a big fan of those
health-
ethics.
that's
I'm
yeah,
not.
no,
I'm
that's
not a
still a
fan of
health-
discrimination of women.
okay, fair, but we're not It's not discrimination
Yeah,
based.
it is.
Based.
You're specifically denying them
say-
the ability to be in a higher seat simply for being a woman.
Do you know the reason? Do you know? But again,
Hmm?
this is the problem though. Being a position in clergy isn't a position of power. This is what the Catholic Church does, and that's incorrect, right? When the Catholic Church comes out to say that women can't be in the clergy, and then they see that clergies are kind of like political positions within the Catholic Church, that's the problem.
Why?
Clergymen
Are you saying that
supposed to be-
they can't do a political position? Can women not be political?
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that you're saying that they can't go into this higher rank. Clergymen are not a higher rank. They are the same as the people that go to church. Mhm.
Okay, but they're still denying them access, are they not?
They're not denying them access. They're not denying them access to
From being
religion,
female
nor saying-
clergy? Hold on. So to be clear, right? You said that they do not ordain women as priests or bishops,
Why?
right?
Do you know specifically why women aren't allowed to be clergymen or any parts of the clergy?
I'm sure you're going to educate me.
Okay, well, first of all, Christianity, or at least Christian ethics based in Orthodox, is that women are respected, right, for the fact that they are able to bear children, right? This is known as one of the ultimate gifts of God, right? It's an ultimate gift, being able to reproduce.
So
right?
why can't
It's
they
not an
be?
ultimate because part of being, for example, for the Catholics, for example, they think women shouldn't be clergymen because clergymen have to they can't actually marry. They have to be absent of that. They can't have any
Gotcha.
sexual relationships. They can't be married or anything. That's the Catholic basis. Now the Orthodox basis, right? Clergymen can marry, right? But the difference is in the Orthodox religion compared to the Catholic ones, men have to really sacrifice a lot of aspects of their lives in order to become clergymen, right? You have to sacrifice a lot. And when you ask a lot of them, they tell you it's not a career,
Yeah.
right?
I
There's
always
a
thought the reason why they
sacrifice
can't be clergy is because it says so in the Bible.
I mean, it does say that, but it also says that a woman and a man. So this is the other point I wanted to focus on. In terms of Christian ethics, in terms of a society, though, this very specific point, I don't think negatively impacts society because remember, a lot of the other Christian ethics that is taught is that it doesn't support this nuclear family structure, right? That's not supported by the Bible. That is Protestant ethics, right? That is further shown by the political structure of the United States, right? Usually, if the state has involvement in the religion, that's when you actually start seeing discrimination of people based off of sex.
Yeah, so we
Also
can't.
the
So
same
we
thing
don't.
with
So we
gender.
basically, we don't want women to, because they're women. Got it. So what about LGBTQ issues? What does the Eastern Orthodox Church think about that? Right? What are their views on, say, sexuality or same-sex relationships or same-sex marriage?
So, in terms of LGBTQ in general, the Orthodox Church does not support any type of discrimination against them. The only one that you could point to, which the Catholics have now opened themselves up to a little bit more under Pope Francis, is that same-sex marriages are not completely ordained by the church, right? The church doesn't fully approve of same-sex marriages because the Bible doesn't teach, right, that same-sex couples are to be considered the same as a man and a woman.
Gotcha.
So to that extent, that is discrimination. But in a sense of a world what I'm talking about in terms of Christian ethics, right? Just the ethical point, not Christianity not a non-secular country. Because I don't think any non-secular country is good. I think secular countries are great. The ability to choose what religion or what belief system is good. But in terms of Christian ethics,
Yeah.
Christian ethics are not a negative impact to society until you add a position of power behind it, like the U.S. government, right? Or the state in itself. Like, for example, the Russian Orthodox Church has been affected a lot by the state of Russia, which is why it caused so many problems between the Russian Orthodox Church and the Greek Orthodox Church, right? Also, Anthony had told you earlier, I think in one of your other conversations about like chattel slavery, what would happen if I don't know what the word you use, if a group of LGBTQ or transgenders had walked into the church, would they be accepted into the church? And they would, right? Because the church is a place for everyone.
They just can't marry, right? They
And
can't.
we're
They
not-
can't. You know, they don't want you to have a same sex relationship, right? They would look at you as like an other, as a not them, right?
No, we don't
Not
judge
at all?
other people. See, that includes So,
I don't know
so
about
the
that.
Bible does not teach. So the Bible does not teach to judge each other. The Bible teaches that actually a lot of the Orthodox will tell you, if you go ask an Orthodox priest, you'll ask anybody who's an Eastern Orthodox, ask Anthony yourself, ask, do you think that you will be saved? And they will say that they don't know. They're not 100% sure. Why? Because we don't know until the day of judgment, right? I don't know until the day of judgment. I'm not the judge. So for me to then act like a judge on earth is incorrect. When I used to be a Catholic, the reason why I converted to Orthodox was because of that. Because Catholics hold this position of where judging each other within a community. They judge you if you didn't donate to the church, right? They judged you if you didn't have good clothes when you went to church. They judged you if they heard that your son was gay. They judged you. And that's a bad thing, right? That's a bad thing. But that is also supported by the fact that is what the church is teaching. And those are just not the classical Christian teachings, right?
All right. Well, I mean, I'm just
problem-
pointing out that the Eastern Orthodox Church does hold traditional views on sexuality, right? They do condemn same-sex relationships and same-sex marriage, right? This is exclusionary and discriminatory at best, right? At best.
Sure. Okay, I can agree with you.
Can
but
I,
in
can I
terms of
say a
the
thing?
negative impact, but in
As
terms
somebody
of the
that
negative-
grew up in a Orthodox, like
Where did you grow up?
Christianity, like my in Romania, which is an Orthodox Christian country, you know.
So that's a bastion.
I have family
That's a
members. I have family members that are priests, right? And I can tell you for sure, people judge each other. They judge each other on what clothes they wore in church, how many times they've been to church, you know, what they're doing, how they're acting, like all these things that you said they don't happen in Orthodox Christianity, they do happen.
I didn't say it didn't happen. Wait, be careful. I didn't say it didn't happen. I'm saying it doesn't get teach as the ethical system. Whether or not that
No, it does.
from
It is.
from extra
That's what I'm telling you.
factors. So where does the Orthodox Church, from what part of the Bible or from what teachings or what canon law do we teach that people should judge each other?
Oh, is that, you mean like if there's like written somewhere? Well, that's irrelevant. It's like every.
It's whether or not they
all
do it
say-
is the question.
It's the
My
priest.
question is,
It starts
so
with the
because-
priest.
I have a question. So if a Christian on the news goes out and kills someone, does that mean that the religion then teaches that?
No, I didn't say that.
Okay. So
What I'm
because
telling you is that
even
it's
though
like the
that
way
there is
people
some-
behave.
So even though some Christians judge each other, that doesn't mean that the religion then teaches judgment of each other. So that's why I'm referring to what your claim is. That is there anything like labeled out in the religion where it says that we should judge each other? In the contrary, right?
Well, I mean, yes, of course it is. Because earlier
Well,
you
it's
were
it's not
talking
whether or
about
not that
why,
that we should judge each other, or whether or not it specifically says it. It's the religion causes that to be the case.
That's not true. So again,
All that no, but you've already acknowledged that the view you're already acknowledging that the view of LGBTQ issues regarding the Eastern Orthodox Church is holding traditional views on sexuality, same-sex relationships, and same-sex marriage, right?
Correct.
At best, from my perspective, that's discriminatory.
correct, but that doesn't necessarily. Okay, but that's not the same as saying that about the judgment thing. Where those are two different conversations, right? But in terms of what you're mentioning, Amanda, my question to you is: you might see this as a societal negative, but in a sense where you have Christian ethics working within a secular nation, don't you think that this doesn't really have much of a basis? Because in reality, we're not disrespecting each other, nor do we promote violence against them. Just that if you were an Orthodox, you wouldn't be able to marry under that identity, right? You wouldn't be able to marry that person, right? You choose not to go to this religion because of that. You choose not to choose that ethic system. That's completely fine. Why? Because you're in a secular country. But in terms of the ethics, in the application of the entirety, right? The things that it teaches, the things that it does in terms of tradition, outside of that, hold a higher positive effect than it is a negative effect. That is the problem. Like, that's the thing that I'm focusing on, right? Is in terms of the societal benefit within a secular nation, is it not a beneficial thing? You said no. I'm saying yes, right? Even though, of course, things like this are extremely traditional, right? And they're not seen as very good in the modern day society that we live in. We don't promote violence like other Christian denominations or sects do, right?
This
We
doesn't
don't-
matter.
we
It's
don't
still
do
being
that.
discriminatory. I mean, like at the end of the day, what you're like,
it's-
okay. So like the way that I'm seeing this is like, well, you know, in the Bible, it does have verses on how to treat your slaves. Right. And it was only until like what, the 1930s, 1940s where the, you know, they decided to dump the idea because it was just so unpopular. Right. And it's like, imagine if there was like somebody in the 1850s saying something like along the lines of, well, you know, we believe that they should be slaves, but we're not advocating killing them. We're not advocating treating them badly, which, by the way, was a common argument right back then. So, like
you're
that,
being a little bit historically inaccurate because the church.
I'm not
itself
being
is
historically
Catholic.
inaccurate. That's absolutely historically accurate. I recommend you read a book on this topic.
I recommend you look at the messages posted by the Pope during the Spanish colonization in the 15th century and the 16th century. Right? It's not the 1930s that slavery is a question of the church. The church goes against slavery way earlier, right? Because it's negative. What it gets supported by is the state. I already made this thing. The state in itself continues slavery as a benefit to the state, right? And then uses the basis of Catholicism specifically to push it towards Latin America and North America, right? But that does not mean that the religion then teaches that. That what they're using is they're using a device, the religion, as a form of means to go and force these people into their society, right? And hold a monopoly of power on them. But that doesn't mean we teach that. And
Yeah.
to go back to what I was saying, Daniel, in the Gospels, it is mentioned, right, that we are not to judge each other, right? In Luke's 6:37, judge not and you shall not be judged, condemn not and you shall not be condemned, right? And it also is mentioned in Romans 2:1, Corinthians, and there's one more, I think. There's even something in Judge. John 7:24, do not judge by appearances, but judge
Hold
by
on.
right.
So we're getting a little off topic, but I really, really want to delve this home because I don't know why there is this defense of this, because it's, to me, it's as clear as day, right? I read a book, right, that's called The Great Stain: Witnessing American Slavery by Noel Ray. Basically what this book was, or what I was reading, is a historical account that compiles firsthand narratives, documents, and perspectives on American slaveries. So there are individual accounts of not only the slavers.
You're going to be wasting your time telling me this. I have to interrupt you because you're wasting your time telling me this, because this is specifically Protestants. I told you the Protestants are a bad example. Why? Because they do
I'm not
everything
using.
wrong.
I'm not saying that the Eastern Orthodox. I'm trying to take it home, right? I'm not saying the Eastern Orthodox are doing that, right? I'm simply you're simply incorrect about the historical account. You're saying that it was not slavery was not justified, right? But it was, because this particular book is grabbing firsthand accounts and narratives, right? Diary entries from slavers as well as slaves. There were a minority of slaves that were able to read and write. Now, they would use, for example, laws regulating slavery, Exodus 21:2-11, and Leviticus 25:44-46. Right, and the New Testament also includes passages where Paul instructs slaves to obey their earthly masters. That's in Ephesians 6:5, Colossians 3:22, and Titus 2:9. Right, there's the curse of Ham, which is based on a misinterpretation of Genesis 9:20-27, where it says Noah is cursing Hanan, the son of Ham, right? Is pro-slavery theologians back then twisted that passage to claim that people of African descent were destined to be enslaved based on that passage. There were also defenders of slavery that argues that since Jesus and the apostles never called for the abolition of slavery, it must have been an accepted social institution. And then you have Southern preachers and theologians that defended slavery from the pulpit, arguing that it was part of God's natural order and necessary for a well-functioning society. And then...
What specific theologians? What specific theologians?
The Southern clergy. Okay,
problem with this
now I
remember
understand
is
that these are,
that
hold on. I understand that you're saying that
connected.
the Eastern Orthodox Church, I'm not talking about the Eastern Orthodox Church in this aspect.
But you could.
The Bible,
The Romanian
hold on,
Orthodox Church
wait.
literally owns slaves.
The Bible
There are certain
was
owned by the
used
local
to
church.
justify slavery historically. It absolutely was. That's not up for content, right? These are first-hand accounts, right? And I gave you the arguments to it, right? I merely brought up the slavery thing because we were talking about the LGBTQ issues, right? And what I was talking about regarding the LGBTQ issues was that they traditionally do not see it as something that ought be done. That's the Eastern Orthodox Church, right? That's how they feel about it. Okay. And so basically imagine the way that you're phrasing it is that you're saying, okay, well, the Eastern Orthodox Church isn't calling for the active harm of them. So therefore, they are morally correct in their position regarding same-sex relationships and same-sex marriage. However, imagine if there was like a slavery institution that says, listen, we're not advocating harming our slaves. In fact, the Bible says the exact opposite. It says to treat your slaves properly, right? It is not biblical to treat your slaves. We're treating them fine, but they're still slaves.
Okay,
Do you see the
so
problem?
I understand the problem, but it's not really a problem. Why? Because first of all, right, in terms of this example that you just give of slaves, okay, within the Protestant sense, which is the evidence that you're using, cannot be equivocated to what the Orthodox experience nor the Catholic experience. I told you, there are Pope official documents, right, of the Pope making multiple popes denouncing the slavery, right, by the Spanish Empire way earlier than slavery is even introduced in North America. The Russian Orthodox Church, even though it did have serfs for a very, very long time, especially the Russian Orthodox Church had serfs for a long period of time. During the 1860s, the Greek Orthodox Church completely disagreed with American slavery and denounced it, saying it was completely unchristian-like. Again, and another important thing here is, when we are specifically talking about Exodus and Leviticus, you need to make you need to understand what is the Old Testament compared to the New Testament, right? It doesn't.
I've already referenced Old and New Testament. You can't use this as a way to.
I'm saying, what is the difference though? Old Testament, specifically Exodus and Leviticus, right? Though part of the things that they talk about in terms of like what you shouldn't do, what you should do is Mosaic law. Mosaic law means laws that was made during the time of Moses, right? Specifically the laws that God put down when Moses was alive and after, right? After the New Testament, after the revelation of Christ, right? The part of the prophecy of the Old Testament is that when the messenger or the Messiah, right, comes, he will fulfill Mosaic law. Okay.
But the New
What does that
Testament
mean?
is still there arguing slavery, and it is not like Jesus expressly condemned slavery.
Nor did he actually support it. So to say that the system
Okay, but given the fact of the
doesn't work.
silence on the
But you have
topic,
to- you
right,
have to-
that
what I'll
left
accept is
people
here, so I'll
thinking
make
that
the
it was
concession.
okay.
But I'll make the concession that it is the state that uses religion as a device in order to justify slavery. But in reality, it's neither justified the reason you have to also understand that slavery at this time, and even after the religion is established, is a device of the state. It is not a device used by the religion. You don't. It's not like 80% of the slaves or a majority of slaves owned at this time were of churches, right? Nor do you see that with serfs, right? Serfdom in Russian Orthodox, in the Russian state, wasn't majorly owned by Christian
right.
churches, and even if it was,
Listen,
most of it was
I'm
through the state.
I was trying to talk about LGBTQ issues, but I just want to be clear with you, right?
Yes.
Was the Bible used to justify slavery?
That doesn't mean it does, though. 'Cause the Bible
Why
has
is
been
this
used
so
to
hard?
prove-
This shouldn't be hard.
No. Wait,
I gave you
can I-
first-hand accounts, right? I gave you sources
right, though.
that are independent.
Yes, but someone doesn't
They
say
are
that
first-hand
but
sources,
someone-
right? So
Yes,
you have
and
to, in order to be reasonable, you have to say yes to this question.
I already said yes to this question. That doesn't necessarily mean your point is
No, you did
that
not
is-
say yes to the question. You superseded
I
it
did,
by
yes.
saying that doesn't mean that the Bible condone. I just need you to say directly
doesn't.
yes or no.
Yes.
Does
Yes,
d-
I'll say yes.
thank you.
I'll say yes. Okay.
All right.
For the sake of the conversation, I already said yes beforehand. I told you. I would
No.
concede on that point.
Stop. You're doing it
Point
again.
is
You're saying for
here-
the sake of the conversation, just say yes. Yes to this.
No, but
Right?
I'm
It's a
saying-
simple
wait, I'm
yes.
saying- yes, I already said yes.
Okay, cool.
What I'm
Good.
saying,
Not
though,
for the
is-
sake of conversation. You legitimately believe that it is that. That is the case. It was used to justify slavery.
Yes, not by the Orthodox Church, by the Protestants.
Okay, I don't know if
There's
that's the
more
case or
depth
not,
in
but it doesn't matter. Like
It is the case, because it's
the whole
only
point
written-
why I
that's
even
only
brought
written
this
here.
up, right, is because
Wait,
I'm talking about,
What was the original question, Amanda?
huh? What I'm
Let's steal the argument. What was the original question of this conversation?
Well, I was having a concern regarding the fact that the Eastern Orthodox Church is openly discriminatory
No.
towards.
What was the basis? No. That's not. That's a point within the question. What was?
No, I'm
the
saying
question
that's
that
the
I
main. That was the reason why I brought up the slavery example, right? I'm using it as an analogy,
fine.
right, to discriminate against individuals,
asking
right?
you
And your
to-
argument is like, well, we're not actively arguing for harming of these people or treating them badly. We just treat them as like,
Why do you
second
think-
class citizens,
has
and
to
how
do with- wait,
kind of how
wait,
we did it with the
wait,
slaves, right? We did that for a long time with the
answer
slaves, and it's like I wouldn't find it to be particularly convincing to say, well, I mean, as long as they're not hurting the slaves, I'm sure it's fine. No, bro, they're slaves. They're treated as property. That's not appropriate, and it's not appropriate to condemn people on the basis of because they are with people of the same sex. It shouldn't be a problem.
So, Amanda, so the problem here is, right? I'm going to ask the question one more time because I want to respond to what you just said, but I want to make sure that you answer my question, which was, what was the original question that I asked you at the beginning of the conversation that I said that this is something that we probably don't agree on? What was it? Do you remember?
Regarding, you were saying that what is wrong with the ethics of the Eastern Orthodox Church?
Yes, I said specifically what is wrong with Christian ethics in the sense of orthodoxy.
Yes. So
you
I
said-
brought up the
Absolutely.
LGBTQ issue, which is, to me,
But
it's
your
like
response
you're
to that-
treating them as second-class citizens.
We heard that part.
and
I
I'm
got
not
that
here
part.
for it.
Wait. Don't monologue the same thing you just said. I'm just asking. And your argument that what you said after I asked you that question was that it's not beneficial to society, correct?
Yes.
You would say that it is
Yes,
not
it's quite
beneficial
harmful to
based on
society. Yes.
Evidence, yes, based on the evidence that you then provided after the fact, correct?
Yes.
Right, which included LGBT. The way that we treated first was the women.
Not treated, treating today, 2025.
Sorry, treated. Correct. Don't focus too much on the language. I make mistakes. Thank you. But then it was the evidence of slavery. Now, to go back to that fundamental point, which was Christian ethics being a benefit to society. Okay. When I was talking specifically about LGBT, when I was saying about the fact that they are not ordained by the actual church in terms of their marriage, they're not like consecrated by the church.
Yeah.
Okay. That is not such a morally wrong thing.
And by the way,
in
if they
I'm
happen to
gonna
be
explain it
gay,
now.
right, they may be interested in something like conversion therapy, right?
We don't push conversion therapy.
I
That's
hope
just
not.
something that you can. So no, we don't. And conversion therapy is actually much more of a Protestant way of thinking And even so, it is based
Does the
off
Eastern
consent
Orthodox Church
of
do
you.
conversion therapy?
To my knowledge, within the United States, I haven't seen it. I don't know if they do, but even so, it's not like they're forced. They don't force people to do conversion. You'll have to answer that with me since you're searching that up. Maybe Anthony in the chat could also answer that for me. Okay, Anthony.
Okay,
said that
yes.
we
So
don't,
it looks
I'm
like
gonna-
some Orthodox clergy or affiliated organizations have supported and tolerated conversion therapy. Though there's not
Okay,
a
that's,
universal endorsement, there's places like Russia, Greece, Serbia, Orthodox majority countries that openly backed anti-LGBTQ laws and support conversion therapy either directly or by promoting spiritual healing for homosexuality. Yeah, this is disgusting. I don't find this to be even remotely acceptable.
Okay, to go back to the point, okay. So just told you that we don't support specifically, right? Because it's
Some
telling you
do,
it's
some
not a
don't.
uniform position on-
Some do, some
and
don't.
specifically, does it say in the U.S.? It doesn't. So that's where I'm talking from. Right? I'm talking about the Diocese of the United States, right? So in the United States, Orthodoxy does not push the conversion therapy, nor is it accepted by our by the churches here. Now, in terms of what we were talking about, I'm going to use an analogy in terms of explaining the LGBT thing. So, remember, the entire basis of this, the environment of where I'm making my statement of where Christian ethics are beneficial is the United States still being a secular country, okay? That's the important thing. I'm not talking about making a Christian nation like Andrew Wilson goes
Okay.
out to say, because I think that's wrong.
What about promoting? What about if like they're LGBT, right? You promote celibacy.
Can I ask you a question? So if I invite you to my house, right? Because I wanted to make an analogy before you ask me the question. I'll ask you the question after. Okay, so if I invite you to my house, right? And you walk into my house, and one of the rules in my house is that you cannot wear red. You can't wear red. You just can't wear red, right? But you're wearing red. And then I tell you, well, Amender, this is my house, and my rule is that you can't wear red. If it be okay, can you please leave, right? Or can you just change your shirt and come back? But if you tell me, okay, I'll just.
Do you see any
not come back,
difference
I'll leave.
between wearing red and being gay?
So there are differences, but what I'm trying to say
What's the
is
difference?
The specific
What
thing that
difference can you imagine between wearing a shirt, which can be freely changed, to being LGBT?
The analogy is supposed to focus on the fact that what we're talking about, the church ordaining a marriage, is the church doesn't force that on people. You go out to look for a church to ordain you.
Yeah.
If you go out and you walk into a church and you ask the priest, hey, can you marry us? And the church says, sadly, our traditions don't apply to you guys. But we live in a secular country where you can still get married legally because you do not require the church to get legally married, as it was pushed earlier, right, in the form of Christianity, especially within Catholicism, right, and the Protestants, right? So how can this be then seen as morally bad in terms of the societal impact if it does not impact society, right? Homosexual relationships and marriages are not affected by this rule. Why? Because if they are not Orthodox, nor do they'll go find the Orthodox clergymen to ordain them, then how can it have a bad societal effect? What you're saying is that based off of your moral system, it is a bad thing. But if the conversation is about whether or not Christian ethics, specifically this Christian ethics system, is beneficial to society, this cannot have negative effects on it. Now, like I said, I concede to you on the fact that things like slavery have been justified by the Bible. Things like violence against homosexuality have been justified by the Bible. A lot of things have been justified by the Bible, including violence. The first Crusades, and all of the Crusades, actually, all 8 of them, were justified by the Bible, right? It was justified by religion, right? That doesn't mean that the actual ethical system is taught, right? That is people in power taking advantage of such a powerful device like faith and then using that to control people. That does not then mean that the Bible supports that, right? This is a very important thing, because if I went out tomorrow and I said, hey guys, the Constitution supports this based off of this, but someone else reads and says, no, it clearly doesn't. And I yell at them and I say, no, it does support this. It does.
Well, I got
right?
something.
But if
I
I'm
got
in a-
something to share with you, right? And I want you to look at my screen. Right. I'm gonna
okay.
share it. Do you
Well,
see my screen?
Can you share it? Yeah, because I'm on my phone, so I won't
Yep.
be
Yep.
able to see.
You should be able to see my screen. Yep.
Outside of marriage, yes.
Okay, so the Eastern Orthodox Church teaches that any sexual activity taking place outside of marriage is sinful, with certain activities within marriage, see below. Therefore, the Orthodox Church teaches that unmarried individuals should practice abstinence or celibacy, not having sex with anyone, including yourself. Those of us still not married do this to preserve the sanctity of marriage bond that God has established. There are two goals of celibacy to abstinence: to remain free of carnal pleasure and to orient your life toward God and away from the secular world. Now, when I scroll down here, it says, does abstinence include masturbation? Yes, abstinence includes masturbation. Since masturbation does not result in the creation of life or is self-directed, not focused on expressing love or concern for your husband or wife, it is a preservation of our sexuality. When you masturbate, you satisfy your own carnal desires, much like fornication, homosexuality, and pornography. So officially, right, by the St. John Evangelist Orthodox Church, right, here in the United States, their official position is your only option as a homosexual is abstinence. Now what? You find this appropriate?
I find this extremely appropriate. Yes. Because this is but this is applying to all people, not just homosexuals. This is applying to everyone who is unmarried.
Bro, but it's literally targeting homosexuals. It's literally saying, hey, your love is not real, right? Your love is carnal, like masturbation. Really? You really think that this is appropriate?
This is the problem, though, Mender. So, Mender, this is the problem, though. I asked you a question on the benefit of Christian ethics in the society.
I'm literally showing you the non-benefit. I'm saying that is the negative. This is not a benefit at all. This is a negative thing.
You're no, that's not. No.
I literally cited a direct source straight from the American Christian Orthodox Church. So now what?
It doesn't, wait, Mender. You need to actually prove the negative effects of it.
The negative effects of celibacy? Oh, bro, I got you. Don't worry about that.
What I was trying to say was that you have to actually, what you're arguing, right, is how it is morally bad to follow this specific ethic. When that question has to do with whether or not the ethic actually supports society and it's a benefit to society. Okay? That is what you're focusing on. So if you want to argue the question and the position,
give me a moment. I'm going to find it for you. I got you, homie. Sure. Don't worry. Hold on. Just give me a second, okay?
Yeah. Then there was something that Anthony brought up that I wanted to say in terms of slavery.
What do you think about the fact that the Romanian Orthodox Church actually owned slaves, and they were the last to actually own slaves in Romania?
So, like I said, the Orthodox Church, for most of its recent history, has actually owned serfs and slaves, depending on what Orthodox Church we're talking about. Russia and Romania included, also the Greeks. But the Greeks didn't own them for too long, right? And they're one of the biggest effects in terms of Orthodoxy in the United States, right? Like I said, a lot of the things that we're talking about in terms of slavery, it's not that religion justifies it, right? And doesn't mean that that slavery is a good thing, right? Just because the Bible doesn't say yes or no to the question. But I also do make the case from a theological standpoint that the Bible does say that slavery is bad, right? And Anthony actually brought
that's an amazing answer. But can you actually answer the question that I asked you and not some other question?
Answer one more time. Maybe I didn't get it. Go ahead.
Okay.
Answer the second
So
question.
I asked you, what do you think about the fact that the Romanian Orthodox Church actually owned slaves?
Yeah, it's a bad thing. But I also would see, I would ask.
I'm going to also tell you that the Romanian Orthodox Church was using their theology to actually support the owning of slaves. And when the state, right, started the emancipation of slaves, they were resisted for a very long time to the emancipation of their slaves.
Can I ask you a question?
So, yeah.
if a church uses theology to support a negative thing like slavery, does that then mean that that theological argument is correct, or should we consider it valid?
It's like who is the authority, whether or not the theological argument is correct or not.
Well, in the sense of the Orthodox
Is their
Church.
theological argument is like
Okay, so their
Right.
theological argument is not the argument of the entire church. So in order for something to be considered
no,
as a
it was
theological,
for the Romanian Orthodox Church.
okay, can I explain to you something? In order for something to be considered as a doctrine of the church, the Church of Christ, it must be done, right, through the meeting of all bishops, right? It's called the Ecumenical Council, right? This is how decisions like these things come together. If a single church in the middle of but nowhere, which clearly is not the case because a lot of Romanian churches had it. But my point I'm saying is, if one, two,
I'm not,
three,
when
10
I'm saying the
churches-
church, I'm not
I don't know what-
referencing like a specific church. It's the
You're
Romanian
referencing
Orthodox
the
Church,
national
right?
church.
The organization.
A
Yes.
Romanian, yes. But
Not
what
a
does that
specific
organization
one.
fall under? It falls under the Eastern Orthodox Church. So it is a part
Yes,
of,
but they also can. Okay, so it's like it's a monocephalic church, right? They can do whatever the fuck they want, right? It's like they can have their own theology, right? At the end of the day, they are
them
independent,
separating from the-
right? So when they're reading the Bible,
you're not
I
separate.
mean,
from the
Dylan,
Church
it's
of
like
Christ.
if you're not gonna let me even like respond and actually have like an argument,
Because
it's like
you
it's pointless.
you actually haven't. You
No, but
haven't
it's like
really-
you keep talking and talking and talking, and I
I'll
can't
let
get a
you
word
talk.
in.
I'm just.
No, it's like you didn't. That's the thing. It's
Okay,
like you
but you're-
didn't.
but
Maybe
you're
you
not
don't realize it,
understanding.
Ah, here
but
we
you
go.
didn't.
But you're trying to.
And you
okay,
keep
but you're
saying I
trying to
don't
argue that
realize. You keep
but
saying
you're
I
not-
don't realize, I don't understand, but I do. And it's
Because you
like
don't-
you're not
you don't
gonna understand
understand the
what I'm saying if you
independency
don't
of
let
the
me.
church.
Okay, cool.
You're saying
I'm
that
just
church
go
is
speak with Amanda.
Okay,
I'm
so
not gonna bother anymore.
all right, I have it right here.
But you-
Right, you said you
I
want
mean-
me to. You wanted me to exhibit any potential harm, right? So again, I'll go ahead and link this in chat for everybody to see. I am not getting this from some BS source. This is journals.library.columbia.edu. It is a legitimate source right here. Undoing the damage, working with LGBT clients, post-conversion therapy. As a mecca of diversity, New York City has become one of the epicenters for the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender and LGBT community. As such, LGBT-identified clients present in New York's counseling and mental health agencies with a cross-section of issues unique to the LGBT community. One of these issues is the deleterious effects of LGBT individuals face an experience with conversion therapy. Conversion therapy aims to alter a person's sexual orientation away from homosexuality into heterosexuality or celibacy. Clients seeking counseling after an experience with conversion therapy present distinct practice challenges that require special consideration in treatment. These clients may experience both sexual and spiritual identity crisis, symptoms of depression and anxiety, hopelessness, sexual dysfunction, and symptoms of post-traumatic stress. Integrative solution therapies, grief work, community-based interventions, and trauma work offer healing strategies for treating LGBT clients after conversion therapy. So,
Okay, you see,
is this bullshit?
So it's not bullshit, but you see how it's specifically talking about the effects of conversion therapy. But the
Nope,
church
it's
doesn't
talking
support
about celibacy as in into heterosexuality or celibacy. This is all part of conversion therapy. Celibacy is a performance
Post-conversion.
of conversion therapy. Right? The current
it's
Orthodox,
talking about
you
conversion
said
therapy
initially,
in-
right, that you would like to see harm. There's harm. There you go. I showed you harm.
So
Now
conversion
what?
It says conversion therapy aims to alter a person's sexual orientation away from homosexuality into heterosexuality or celibacy, right? This
Yes.
doesn't necessarily. Okay. Again, so first of all, even if you did establish the harm here, now you have to establish that it is societally more harmful than what the benefits of the Christian ethical system can make, right? Which I don't think is actually proven by the source that you put, even though that. In terms of the celibacy that we're talking about, right? We're talking about celibacy between individuals that for most of their life are children, right? Because most people will get married at a very young age under the Christian thing, right? A lot of Christians actually marry pretty early, right? Compared to Protestants and to other things. They actually marry later. And atheists as well marry later in terms of statistics. I don't have it on hand. So don't consider it as fact. I'm just saying that is what I saw. I might be wrong, and I'm not saying it as a fact, right? But one thing that I wanted to say about Daniel is I apologize if you were frustrated by me interrupting you. By the way, I would like to have that conversation with you. I don't want to seem so cold about it, but I was trying to explain that a local parish or a
I don't
diocese
have
doesn't
any
actually have
studies regarding like the impacts of like celibacy versus just being openly LGBT, but like I fail to see like when you're talking about if somebody has the choice, right, and that they're not being openly antagonized into not being LGBT, right, they themselves can come to a conclusion as to what is best for their life, right?
Correct. I think that's amazing. Right?
Okay, so
And that's
maybe
exactly
not
why
argue
everybody-
celibacy as like a method.
But when we're arguing celibacy, we're talking about celibacy within our ethical system. So if you
Yeah,
if
okay,
you're
I'm
outside
showing that the ethical system results in negative outcomes,
it
right?
doesn't.
Okay, forcing somebody into celibacy absolutely
We're
could.
not forcing people. We're not forcing people to do conversion therapy or celibacy.
What if they're a
What
cat?
you're-
If they're
what
if they're an
you're
Orthodox
conflating-
Catholic, they absolutely get coerced into doing that, right? Because the current Orthodox stance is to encourage celibacy for those who have those urges.
Encourage. See,
Yeah,
you just
that's
said it, encourage, not
ridiculous. You think there's no pressure in that?
Not if you're first of all, not if you're a rationally thinking being.
We just
Right.
have to agree
A
to
lot of-
disagree. I don't know what to tell you, man. I
really
think
thought I could change your
societal
idea on
pressure
this.
absolutely factors in a huge role in what somebody ultimately
You think
needs
that
in situations
change
like that
within
is
the
support from their local community and based on
Mm-hmm.
the ethical standards of the Christian Orthodox Church in the United States, it does not result in better outcomes. It results in worse outcomes because of likely the societal pressures that are incurred from it. Right? That's not a hot take in me bringing that up.
Okay, but it kind of is in the sense that this
Not
is
at
a
all.
system that doesn't force you. So we're not forcing you to be part of this ethical system. We're just saying that this is what is part of the ethical system. So if I post rules outside my house and I say anyone can come into my house, but these are the rules of my house, and one of those rules is celibacy, right? If you then decide to come into my house and not be celibate, okay, I might even accept you, and the Orthodox Church does that. We don't truly. If you
Okay,
just
but
don't
you're
tell us-
talking about like what is the problem with the ethics of the Orthodox Church, and there's a problem with the ethics of the Orthodox Church.
That's the problem. That's the problem. You're arguing that it is morally wrong. I'm not arguing that. I'm arguing that it's society. It's beneficial for society, right?
Okay, what
Within
is
a
harm?
secular society.
What do you think is harm? What's harm?
Wait, can you answer that though?
No,
like,
no.
You know that you're not arguing the same point that I'm arguing. That is why you're getting frustrated with me, because I understand your point and why it's morally wrong within your moral system. And I think to some extent it can be considered wrong by other people, and that's why I don't think that we should, my church nor my religion should force things on other people. If you don't
Okay,
want
so
to be
well, they're
celibate,
arguing
you
in
want-
favor of celibacy for people who are gay. They actively encourage it. It's right there on their website. We know it causes harm. Why can't we just acknowledge, hey, this moral system isn't as good as like a secular humanist perspective? Like a secular humanist is going to look at a person who's LGBT and say, there's nothing wrong with you. You can live your life as you see fit, right? Here's a condom. It tends to be a little riskier being LGBT. That is far
Do you
better
understand- do
than
you
than
understand-
the potential than the potential problems that are incurred by not embracing someone's identity.
The problem is though, and I think we're going to have to agree to disagree, because I think what you're doing is, first of all, you kind of introduce two different arguments into one, right? Because I'm talking about the societal benefit, and it seems like you're trying to base your argument of why it's not beneficial for society based off your moral arguments why
No, I'm
transgender
saying
or,
in,
like,
you're
homosexuality
providing a
is a good
social
thing or not
pressure
doing that. So
that doesn't
But
need to be
no,
there,
it's
and so
not
some
social
people
pressure.
that will cause harm to them because they
When
don't
you go
want
there,
to do that.
It was not like the divine liturgy. Yeah, but when you go to the Orthodox Church and you go to divine liturgy, you're not actually taught to be.
Can you
like,
at
they
least
don't start
agree
going
that?
on talking about
Can you at least agree that
homosexuals,
celibacy
you're
can
bad.
cause depression? Do you believe that celibacy causes depression? Yes or no?
So, I would say yes, but there's definitely more factors in play, right? If you want to make the case that it's just celibacy causes depression, I'm going to argue no, because I've actually not seen any.
Well,
social
there's
studies
lots
on
of
that
things. There's
actually-
lots of things that causes depression. That's beside the point. I'm simply pointing out that
Listen, it's-
hey, if you force people, or if you say, hey, you have to do celibacy because that's what God intends, right? Because your style of
we
love is
see the
sinful.
benefits of that.
Yeah, that absolutely is going to cause a great deal of depression. Like what?
Yeah, but we've seen actual benefits within Christian communities.
But that's a
With this
negative
specific-
thing. That's not good.
No,
And you're defending
it's
it.
not a negative thing. You know why? Because
It is a negative thing. You're forcing people and sending them into depressive
That's
fits
where-
because they can't be who they want to be.
you don't actually have
Right? And it's
evidence
not
that
a red
shows-
shirt that you could just take off.
Okay, you see how you haven't actually made a claim and you haven't actually supported it with evidence. You cannot
What?
say that with-
No, you're not going to say that. I did support it with evidence. I was very direct with it. I gave you direct sources from your side, and I provided sources from the psychology. Do not say I didn't provide evidence. I did.
But you provided evidence for something else that we were just talking about. I'm talking
No,
about this
I'm talking
specific-
about the negative effects of applying ethics
When
from
I
a
was-
Christian worldview,
Xander.
specifically from the Eastern Orthodox perspective. And yes, I did provide sources.
Amanda, you're not allowing me just to finish. Just give me like 30 seconds, okay?
Go ahead.
Then you could completely just agree to disagree. Okay. What I am saying is you haven't provided evidence on the specific claim that I have made that within the Christian ethic system, right, or people that are Christian, that celibacy has been negative, right? You have established that celibacy, and in terms of a societal thing, can be bad, right? And I have seen science and research that suggests that, right? A lot of it actually, right? And that actually being open about your sexuality is actually extremely benefit for your social sense in society. But in terms of a Christian sense, we actually see good evidence that people that practice celibacy and are Christian, right, are happy. They're happy that they're not depressed just because they're
Yeah,
celibate.
some
Why?
are.
'Cause they're-
So I won't even tell you that there are some that may actually be just fine being celibate. That is not the case for all people, right? So when you send people to be celibate, right, people can come to the choice to be celibate if they want to be. There's nothing wrong with that. But however, like to sit there and say that like that the societal pressures don't exist as a result of the Eastern Orthodox Church, that's wrong. And there's certain people where that would not work and actually result in quite deleterious effects. It's not a good outcome. Right?
Okay,
I'm simply saying, hey, give people the choice. And you're saying, well, no, they got to listen to the church because the church's morals are correct.
Can I ask you a question? No, that's not necessarily always true. The church is not almost always right. It depends. This is the same thing I was going to tell. I was actually going to talk to Daniel right after this. Is about specifically what he was mentioning about the Romanian church, right?
Yeah.
When the Romanian church takes a different opinion about something compared to the rest of the Orthodoxy, right? And this has happened before, right? But my question that I'm asking you is there societal pressure of people to join Orthodoxy in the United States?
Is there a societal reason to join the Eastern Orthodox Church? Yeah, it's usually
Yeah,
because
is there
of
societal pressure?
to join the Eastern Orthodox Church. If your parents are Eastern Orthodox, yeah,
I said societal pressure.
yeah,
Not
that
sure,
would be
not
a societal
familiar.
pressure, right? Your parents are a societal pressure. Yes,
In the aspect of one person, but I'm talking about in terms
but
of
yeah, you're the one
society as a whole.
person,
What
and your
person-
parents are making you be celibate because you're gay.
Okay, I'm gonna be completely honest. I think we have to agree to disagree. I thought I could change your
Okay.
opinion about this, just this specific thing about Christianity, but I guess I'm not gonna be able to. All I'm gonna say is this: I think that you have to analyze it point by point, outside of just the sexuality conversation and about celibacy. I think that there also are some very good points in terms of the Christian ethics system that I didn't even get to, right? Like about worth ethic, right? Or about the way that Christianity teaches good things in terms of your health, in terms of your work, things like that, separate from the fact that you have to have certain faith in certain things. Also, the fact of using the basis of the Old Testament, I think is a little bit bad, right? Because the Old Testament is law, mostly Mosaic law that has already been fulfilled by Christ dying on the cross. When Protestants come out and use the Old Testament, they're doing it because they don't even know. They honestly don't even know about the prophecy, and they don't understand what Christ taught, which was forgiveness and love and all of that. And what I'm trying to do is just say, well, the Orthodox Church, we have our traditions. You might disagree with them. I still love you, and you can hate me, but I'm not gonna do anything wrong to you, and nor do I wish harm.
I don't
upon
hate you, Dylan.
I'm-
I just don't like the church.
No. Of course, I'm not saying. I know why you're
I
frustrated.
don't like
from this
religion
point.
in general. I think religion results in all sorts of horrible things exactly like this. And none of the religions are really particularly like convincing to me. Like they all appear to
I will-
like
all
do
I'll
the
say is-
same weird backward stuff that's like, you know, results in pretty negative outcomes empirically, and it's often ignored because my book says so. Right? It literally
So,
has nothing to
like,
do with any empirical analysis. It's
only
an
problem is-
unchanging
I-
moral system.
all I will say is this, Amender. I will try one more time to but I will invite you. All I'm saying is, I think you should look to see the actual societal benefit of the ethical in the terms of the general sense more than focusing on specific things that you already have a basis of saying. Not necessarily a bad basis, by the way. I'm not saying that just because you're coming in already knowing that doing anything against saying things against transgender or women or homosexuals is a bad thing, that might influence you. I'm just saying you're kind of coming into that and already judging that person. I think you should see the human aspect behind it, but also see the practicality of that ethical system.
What?
Now,
I'm-
Daniel, you mentioned
I am
something
showing
very-
you the human aspect of it. It's like, hey, people who can't control it, we shouldn't be discriminatory towards people over things they cannot control. Right? That's the human
Daniel,
aspect.
I wanted to I got you. We're going to agree to disagree, and I guess I'll just talk to you about it another day,
Yeah.
right? Because I want to actually find some more evidence and probably talk about this point a little bit bigger. Now, Anthony, you mentioned about
mean
the
Daniel.
Romanian church, and Anthony, I'm sorry, Daniel, sorry. You have mentioned something about the specific Romanian church, but in terms of its decision and theological doctrine that it established. Now, I apologize for interrupting you, but the point that I was trying to make is that you're kind of not understanding the independency that the said Romanian church has, because it has somewhat of an independency, but in reality, it does not have a total, complete independency from the Church of Christ, which in this case is the Eastern Orthodox Church, right? And Anthony has mentioned it in the side chat. I think you guys are having a conversation about it. It's that cyanoids, right, are the basis
The
of
synod, not synods,
or the
it's the
synod.
synod.
Sorry.
And it's irrelevant. As I wrote to Anthony, it's irrelevant. The way you judge
Why is it
people's
irrelevant?
ethics are by their actions. If their actions is to have slaves, it doesn't matter if they have a paper where they agreed, oh, you should not have slaves, if they have slaves, right? Because the ethics is what you do, not what you say. You could say a lot of things. You could be anti-rape and then just go ahead and rape people, right? At like a words level, you could be, oh my God, rape is so bad. And then you just go and rape people. And it's like,
Chill on the arsenal.
just like it.
Just do sexually
I'm
assault
just
or
saying,
something.
right? Like, yeah, sexually assault, right? It's like you can do a lot of things, right? You can say a lot of things and then do the exact opposite. Okay, so what I care is not about what people say. I care about what people do, right? And their actions. And the actions specifically of the Orthodox Church of Romania, right? The Romanian Orthodox Church clearly made it, that, they actually condoned slavery because they practiced slavery and they were against the emancipation of the Roma people in Romania, right? They were literally the last to own slaves in Romania, right? And
Okay.
the only reason they didn't have slaves anymore is because they were forced to emancipate their slaves by the power of the state, right? At the end of a gun, right? The state just came and said, nah, you're not going to do this anymore.
Okay, so the problem though is the way that decisions are made in terms of theology within the Orthodox Church are very, very important, especially when we're talking about this. When the Romanian Church decides to do this and actually opposes the state, which in reality holds the view that we actually hold today in terms of the Orthodox Church, right? Look, I understand where you're coming from, but the ethics of the ethics system, the ethical system that is being shown by Christianity, isn't actually based off of people's actions. It's based off of how it guides people to make decisions and live their lives, right? So when the specifics that we're talking about within that ethical system is that you should treat people with love, right? And they should do this and this and that, right? And it never says you should own another person. You should submit another person to this. The Bible doesn't say that, right? The Bible makes other things, right? Like it explains slavery and how slaves should be treated, right? Which, again, focuses on the fact that slaves shouldn't be mistreated. Also focuses on this.
There shouldn't be slaves. I mean, this is the problem that I'm having.
There
It's
shouldn't be
like the
slaves.
problem that I'm having
the
is that
Bible-
you're trying to just a second. It's like you're trying to say that there's this this very nice, like Christian ethics that we should all abide by, right? And it's like one of those things in the past, as a Christian, was like, oh, slavery is fine, slavery is okay. It's like, I mean, it says in the Bible doesn't tell you thou shalt not own human people as property. It says how to treat the slaves. Therefore, it condones it, right? Because it says, okay, you can have people as slaves, just don't beat them so they die in 2 or 3 days, okay? So that was the Christian ethic back then. And you know what we did, right? The Renaissance came, Illuminism came, and we said, you know what? Yeah, maybe owning people as property is not a cool thing. Maybe we should stop doing that. And then Christianity took that was outside of Christianity at that point, and said, oh, since everybody doesn't like us because we actually say you should have slaves, now we should say maybe it's not good to have slaves, right? And now you're pretending this idea of not owning human beings as property is somehow comes from Christianity, when in reality it doesn't. It comes from outside of Christianity.
So a very important thing here is, and you said it in the side chat too, about you basically having this romantic idea of how the church is. It's not romantic. I'm just saying it in this. I'm just explaining it in this attitude because, like, I feel like it's a better way of doing that than rather than just saying this and this and this and that. But I will admit there are hiccups in the road of the histories of all churches, right? There is no, there of course not, and there have been major hiccups, right? And I'm not trying to. Sorry, let me not say hiccups because then you might be saying that, oh, you're trying to diminish it. No. There have been huge problems within the Orthodox Church, okay? And I have admitted that, right? And it's part of its history. You can't just completely remove it, right? Like there have been huge problems within the Catholic Church and the Protestants and everybody, right? There's problems within all these churches, right? But there's even problems within other things as well, political ideologies, right? Within liberalism and all this, right? When I'm specifically talking about this this position, right? In terms of what you're implying is, number one, the Bible, the actual ethical system, theologically speaking, does not support people owning slaves, right?
Yeah, but are you gonna do now what you accused Protestants in the US of doing and going sola scriptura?
No, I'm not going sola scriptura.
No,
but also
then we, if you don't go sola scriptura, then you're also gonna go about what the church actually did,
doesn't
right?
teach us. No, but the church doctrines don't actually teach that either.
The actions. Again, I don't care about words on a page. I care about people's actions, right?
You said, okay, so the decisions made by the church are not important, but their actions are. But their decisions...
Yeah, let me put it another way, so you can understand it, Dylan. Because it's like, that's when I said you have a very romantic idea about the Orthodox Church. It's like, I said it for a very good reason, okay? So I was a believer, right? I was a believer. And you know what? And I was like, reading the Bible, believing everything, and all this good shit, right? You know what it made me? The Romanian Orthodox Church and its ideology made me a homophobe, a misogynist, right? And a racist. That's what it made me. So when you come now and tell me, oh my God, there's this like very nice Christian ethics, that's coming from the Orthodox side of Christianity. Don't look at this Protestant shit that's, it's the same. I literally, as a person that, was raised in a predominantly Orthodox country, I can tell you there's literally no difference between, especially the Romanian Orthodox Christianity and evangelical Christianity in the US. And this is exactly the reason why right now, evangelical movements from the US have a really fucking good time in Romania, right? And they're hand in hand with the Romanian Orthodox Church because they all believe the same things. They all believe, gay people shouldn't have rights. They all believe women are inferior. They all believe, there's like white people are the best race. Okay? So what a synod said or didn't say, or what you think it says in the book or it doesn't say in the book, is absolutely irrelevant when the actions of the people that form that group, are this way. So I'm sorry. It's like, I don't care about like, some, theological masturbation when it comes to these things, because reality is the one that's more important. Reality trumps like any kind of like philosophical point you want to make.
Look, and I understand completely your point. So I'm gonna make this. I'm gonna make a concession and say, that clearly I need to know more about what specifically the Romanian church has done in this aspect and what this relationship that you're establishing with the evangelicals, because I'm not going to speak on something that I do not know of. But I will say this. I think it's really important that if these actions were taken, where do these actions, how were these actions established, right? What decisions within the church made it? Was it a person? Was it a group of people? Was it the society forcing them to do this, right? Like, we had to see what pressures force these actions to happen, right? They might be pressured. They might have just been one clergyman, or it might have been the entire country agreeing that this is the way that it's going to be, right? So since I don't know enough, I'm not going to make a claim on why it happened, right? Because I would be completely disingenuous. But I want to share the fact that I understand your experience, right? Because it's similar to my experience within Catholicism, right? When I was in the Catholic Church, right, I was taught similar things that what you were taught, right? I was taught that a man and a man shouldn't be together, or a woman and a woman. I was taught many things like that made me extremely wrong, and even other things. The judgment was the biggest thing, right? The fact that
Wait. Do you believe now that it's okay for a man and a man to be together?
I think it's okay for a man and a man to be together.
Is that based on like any scripture? Is it based on any like teaching of the Orthodox Church?
So,
that would be amazing.
That's based on I can't speak for uncertainty of that, but in terms of specifically my position when it comes to it, my thing is based off the fact that I, first of all, do not judge other people. That's not my position. Second, I am taught to love others. I am taught to love other human beings, no matter the situation, right? If a human being hates me, I will love them, no matter of that condition of hate, right? I might be persecuted by another human being, but I will not lose a love for that other human being, right? Because they are a human being, right?
I don't know, but we're talking specifically about like a very specific group of people, you know, like gay people. Because I can tell you a thing, you know, it's like earlier you're saying that it's like, the Orthodox Church is not going to marry people of the same sex, and that's fine. I think it's fine for them to not do that because of tradition or whatever bigoted position they have. It's irrelevant, and I wouldn't even care about that. The thing that I care though is, like, for example, in my country, one of the biggest obstacles in legalizing same-sex marriage in my country is actually the Orthodox Church.
I have a comment.
Right?
I think it's being directed at Dylan. So I want to tell me what you think of what this person says. He says, essentially, when good things happen, that's because Christianity is good. And when bad things happen, it's because of everything else.
So the problem with that is it seems like you really didn't, that person did not really understand what I was trying to mention, right? A lot of the decisions made by Christians have been based off Christianity. It's not based off of other things, right? All I am saying is that there have been different interpretations of the said Bible that have been used by people in order to make certain decisions or make certain or to do certain actions that in our society today we consider morally wrong, including slavery, right? The problem though with slavery, right, is that there actually is not a basis in the actual Bible that argues that you should own slaves or that it is morally right. It just doesn't touch on that topic because slavery just wasn't a device of the church at the time of when the Bible was written.
That's just
when
not
the Gospels
correct.
were written, and the New Testament
You've already agreed with that it does promote slavery.
It does not. I said that it has been used to promote slavery. That was the question you
How
asked.
does it not promote slavery then? To me, that's like one and the same thing. Like,
that's not the same. That's not the same thing. If a guy goes out and uses the Bible to promote slavery, and then people agree with him, right? That's not the same thing as me saying that. Look, right here, written in Leviticus, it tells you you should own slaves, and it's a good thing. Those are not the same situation. Those are completely
in the
separate.
Bible, it does say these things.
Okay, where does it say in the Bible that you should own slaves and it's morally right?
It tells you where you buy.
All right, I got it. I got it right here. Yeah, I'll provide that right now. Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
You can just read it to me because I'm driving right now. So
Yep. Give me a second.
Yeah.
Leviticus 25:44-46. Your male and female slaves are to come from the nations around you. From them you may buy slaves. You may also buy some of the temporary residents living amongst you and members of the clans born in your country, and they will become your property. You can bequeath them to your children as inherited property and can make them as slaves for life, but you must not rule over your fellow Israelites ruthlessly.
Okay. Number one, this is Old Testament, which is important, right? Because we do not follow this law currently because this is laws in the way the society works.
Yeah, but
before.
you're
But even
moving
so,
the
let's forget
goalpost,
that for
by
the
the
sake of
way.
conversation. No, I'm not.
Yeah, you
but
are.
let's okay. You know what? Forget about what I just said. Then. You see how it says that you may, right? It specifically is giving people a choice,
Permission.
right? About
Permission.
Sorry?
Permission.
that doesn't mean it's okay. So that doesn't mean promote. That doesn't mean it's promoting it.
What?
You're arguing that
Okay,
it's promoting
hey,
it.
if I told somebody, right, hey,
This
you
is not
may
the same thing
smoke
as-
crack,
This is like
am I
saying-
promoting smoking crack?
No.
What?
No. you're not.
That is wild, dude.
it.
The freaking mental gymnastics are insane.
Okay.
I don't get it. I really don't. Help me out.
Okay, because the way that I'm thinking about it is that if we're talking about promoting something, right? That's like me going out and telling every crackhead, "Hey, you need to do this. You need to do that. You need to do this. This is that." That's promoted.
Yeah.
Now, me telling
So, wait a second, Dylan.
Oh,
If
you
the
can do
state,
this,
if the
you
U.S.
can't do
government right now,
that's not the
if the
same.
U.S. government, if the U.S. government has like this campaign, right, and on TV, on TV, right, like every day, right, like 10 times a day, on TV, like on every channel at the same hour, you have this ad, right, that says you may buy your PCP or like fentanyl from the dealer at your local corner, right? Do you think that would be understood as
It's
the
not
U.S.
same thing. So
government
what you're doing is
promoting
promoting
drugs?
in that case, it
drugs?
is. But what you're doing is you're grabbing both aspects of the example that I just gave beforehand and putting them together in this analogy. So it's not a good equivocation.
No, I wasn't making an analogy. I was like, first of all, I was asking you if you would think that if they said that, that would be equivalent to them promoting.
because they're campaigning. They're campaigning.
No.
something. The
No,
Bible
but they
is
just
not
putting
I mean,
it there,
there's
right? It's the
verses
same,
regarding
like,
gay
back then they didn't
sex
have
and
TV.
laying with a man in Old Testament.
That's different.
So, why is
that's
that different? Huh?
Oh, wait, because it directly says, right? There's directly says it's not permission.
Yeah.
And it's specifically saying that. But even so, going back to what I
Mm.
was saying about, even though you're going to say it's moving the goalpost, Mosaic law has been fulfilled by Christ, right? So we don't.
Yeah, but
follow
in the
these-
Old Testament it says it's bad to, but we don't, did you see my problem?
I see your problem, of course, but it's not the same thing. I can
Well,
see your problem, and again,
but it's
we're
Old
gonna-
Testament. We should ignore that, right? Because the Mosaic law has been fulfilled by Jesus Christ.
That's not what I said. Wait. That's not what I said. I didn't say we should completely ignore Mosaic law.
Oh, okay. So we
Christ does
basically
parts of
picky
Mosaic law.
choosy what we believey weavy, and that's okay, right? Things that make us uncomfortable, we choose not to believe that. But things that that seem to argue in our favor, we don't ignore that.
We also think that it's uncomfortable to stone a woman because of adultery, but we would agree that that's a morally right thing, right? Like to not do that. We would agree that it's morally right for
Yeah,
us not.
yeah. This is why I have a problem
There's a lot of
with
things.
religion in general. Yeah,
This is where I'm saying we're
it
gonna have to
frequently
agree to
causes
disagree.
people to come to
you're
conclusions
getting it
that are
correctly.
that are frequently false. Like even something as like as so black and white as like spanking, for example. There's so many. There are verses that argue in favor of spanking in the Bible, and even to this day, Eastern Orthodox, non-Eastern Orthodox, doesn't matter. They argue in favor of spanking. Yet there's tons and tons and tons of evidence that show the negative effects of spanking and that there are better ways to go about it. Right? To this day, it is a consistent thing that I have to fight against, specifically regarding religious people. This is my issue, man. The morals are backward, right? And they're backward because they're following a 1,500-year-old book for their morals. right? Instead of like operating on like,
That's not true.
evidence and
So,
like
This is
knowledge.
the problem. This is the problem. You're saying that it's kind of like a picky choosy situation.
Yeah, it
This
is.
yes, this no. This yes, this no. It's a little bit more advanced than just saying it's a picky choosy thing, right?
No,
You
it
can laugh
kind
at
of
me all
is
you
that
want,
though,
but
because like
what
in
I'm
the
saying
Old
is,
Testament it says
in a sense, no, wait. Like I just said, in a sense it is, but it's more complicated than that, right? So we looked at the. I mean, you can laugh at me, but all I'm saying.
I'm sorry, I
is,
just find it incredible. Like I don't find this convincing at all.
Okay, fair. Like I said, we can agree to disagree. I'm not going to be able to fully convince you. I mean, that's clearly the case, right? So
I
mean,
prefer the word
only thing I'm gonna
indoctrinate.
say though-
I'm sorry. I'm just
I'm not
being
trying to
I'm just being
indoctrinate no
snarky.
one.
I'm being snarky. I'm sorry.
Okay, I got you.
You're a
I don't-
nice
I don't-
guy. I appreciate you.
I don't agree. Thank you. I appreciate you too, Amender. Don't get frustrated with me. I'm not Andrew Wilson. I'm not well, there's a lot of other people that
No,
you
you're a
would
lot
probably
nicer
say.
than Andrew Wilson. It's not even close.
You know Andrew Wilson's Orthodox, right? Like it's
Oh,
completely
good.
different,
Oh,
right?
good. He's a fucking nightmare.
Yeah,
Great.
no.
Hey, man.
Yeah, no. I
You're
didn't
the
wanna
one going up to bat.
Never say that to people. Okay?
Yeah, never
say
never say that again to people. Yeah. For sure. I would not say that to people.
Or tell them he's Orthodox and you're Catholic, right? At least that.
No, I'm gonna say that he's Catholic. He's an Orthodox Catholic, which is not a real thing.
Also, but I also will assume that the type of Catholicism you experience in the U.S. is very different from the Catholicism you could experience in Italy, for example. I lived in Italy for like 8 years, and what I can tell you, Italian Catholicism was like way more tolerant than Romanian Orthodoxy.
So the reason why that's not necessarily true is that I'm not an American like Catholic. I'm Spanish. I'm Latino. So a lot of the similar teachings within the Italian Catholicism and the Spanish Catholicism.
Where does your
the one
family
that
where
is-
does your family come from?
Amender, do you not remember this?
I don't.
We had a whole conversation.
I mean,
So
she's
I'm
Uruguay, right?
Uruguayan.
From
Yes,
Uruguay.
thank you, Daniel.
Okay.
Oh my God, Daniel. Wait, that
I have
actually
good
was-
memory,
that-
man.
So hold on. Wait, hold on a sec.
I
Hold on.
remember, I remember
So-
I know Amender's name.
Let me
He's from
let me
Chile,
ask
like,
you
I know-
this. Let me ask you this. I think this is probably even more pertinent, right? I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
do you think you're like Catholic as opposed to like, I don't know, Buddhist?
Why I was Catholic?
Like your parents come from, are you born in Uruguay or you
No, I was not born in Uruguay. I was born in the U.S. But my
You were born in the
parents
US.
were immigrants.
yeah, and they were Catholic, right?
My mom was Catholic, and my dad was technically he's agnostic. He was never baptized, nor that he agrees that there's a God. He's just that type of person. You know what I mean? My mom is.
He wouldn't be agnostic if he believes that there's a God, but
I think
okay.
well, not the Christian God, just a God, right?
Oh, he
That,
was
that
a
would
deist.
that would at minimum make him a deist. It's not a
Okay.
Anyway-
well, just saying,
anyway,
he's not
regardless.
agnostic.
it's the okay.
It's an
So
informal term.
so
Yes.
okay. Here's I guess like if
I
you're Uruguayan
Why?
and you just happen to be the one religion that conquistadors forced on the mestizo populations, I guess like my own internal thoughts would be like if I was a Catholic like you, and you know my parents come from a country that is conquered by conquistadors that were Catholic, right? To me, I would say the reason why I'm Catholic is because conquistadors did it. They forced natives to become Catholic by the end of a sword and by the end of a gun, and now everyone's
Not
Catholic.
necessarily.
No,
Wait, wait,
no.
Wait, I just-
100%.
wait,
That's why a majority
Wait,
of them are Catholic.
Wait.
That's not a hot take.
Forced to be Catholic. They would be forced to be Catholic, but there is also the societal thing. Like a lot of what it wasn't just when the conquistadors showed up. It was actually when the Catholic missionaries show up. What the Catholic missionary does across the Americas is overpower, right, the indigenous religions that exist, right? What they did is they basically said, "Oh no, you're completely wrong," right? And when you try to argue with them, no, 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 you're wrong. This is right. And they would involve themselves within everyday life. Another thing, Uruguay specifically, right? Yeah, the conquistadors didn't convince people to be Catholic. You know why?
What?
Because they basically because they killed 95% of the native indigenous people in Uruguay. They almost killed all of us off, right? A lot of people in Uruguay are actually their descendants are not even native to the land. They're mostly Spanish and Italian. Why? Because the Spanish actually killed a lot of the natives in Uruguay. They're called the Charruga, right? And so the Charruga were killed off by the Spanish when they came, specifically because the Charruga were not accepting of the authority. And even, I think it was only like 200 years ago, the last Charruga that was like full-blooded Charruga actually was sent to France as an exhibit. Like, search this up. I think this was like in the 1800s. A Uruguayan indigenous person, like the last one, was put into a cage and sent to France as part of an exhibition. Like, that is so horrible. So horrible. But yeah, no, most of them got killed off. It was mostly the Spanish and the Italians that already came, that were already, like, you know, as Amanda would say, indoctrinated with this belief system before they even got to colonize the place. It was the intermarriages too, right? The interracial marriages. The children would also come out Catholic, right? So it wasn't really that difficult. You didn't really have to shoot people to become Catholic in Uruguay. You already killed off almost all the indigenous religions, and like at 1, 2, 3. In 1, 2 generations.
You've got like 10% of the story here, right? You're not talking about the 17th to 18th century of Jesuit and Franciscan missions, right? Where in the 1600s, the Jesuit and Franciscan missionaries, they converted indigenous people, specifically the Guarani, who are more receptive to Spanish influence, and they established reducciones in present-day Paraguay, Argentina, and Brazil, and which also extended into Uruguay. The Charrúa, which is what you're referring to, right? They resisted Catholic conversion and Spanish control, and that they had a nomadic lifestyle warrior culture. However, that doesn't really actually matter because the Spanish crown sought to integrate indigenous people into colonial society and forced labor and conversion, and many of the Charrúa resisted and were eventually decimated by disease, conflict, and direct extermination campaigns. So you sitting there telling me that it's like the Catholics didn't force them to become Catholic. No, they kind of did. They did exactly that. And that's why a majority.
That is not what I said. Wait.
What? Then what did you say?
I did not say that. You said that they were turned Christians by the point of like a conquistador sword. All I said was that's not true. They just killed the indigenous people. They just killed the Charrúa.
What? That's force. What do you mean? What is it? I don't care if it's sword or stick. It doesn't matter. They're still killing people, and that's why they're Catholic, right? And I'm saying that consequently, you're basically a matter of your environment. Your mom was Catholic. They likely have probably influenced your decision making. Like, this isn't hard to figure out.
Okay, so the problem here is, I just told you, most of the Uruguayans that you're referring to, like today, a lot of the reasons why they are Catholic is because they are descendants of interracial marriages that result in either a guy marrying a Uruguayan woman and then having a kid and making him Catholic, right? Or Catholic colonizers from Spain and Italy coming into Uruguay, right? And just being Catholic and just continuing the religion. Right, the Jesuits and the Franciscan missionaries also had an effect, but particularly, like it says in the art. I think I'm guessing you're reading.
I don't know what you're on about, right?
I'm not arguing.
We can all agree. We can all agree
they just
that
exterminated them.
Well, they did. Over hundreds of years. They did. They exterminated them, right? And then that's why a majority of people are Catholic in Uruguay. right?
Yes.
You don't have Charrua going around and resisting Catholics, right?
Not anymore.
Almost everybody is Catholic, right? And I ask you, it's like, why are they that way? Well, yeah, I mean,
Why are
conquerors,
Catholics? Because a
conquistadors,
lot of them
they did
came
exactly
over,
that. That's
a
what they
lot of them
did.
and a lot of the native Brazilians that mixed in with the Uruguayans, right, were also taught because of the Jesuits and the Franciscan missionaries, right? Because remember, Uruguay was a much larger country than it was, right? Uruguay is not just the current state that it's in. It actually included the southern,
Wild.
the whole southern state of Brazil. So there was a lot of Brazilians as well that mixed with the Uruguayans.
I didn't want to get into like a long lesson regarding what happened, right?
Well, you said I
I'm
only
simply
did 10%, but I know a lot
hold on.
more.
I'm simply
I'm
pointing
saying.
out. I'm simply pointing out, right? My concern is that it is not a long stretch to say that you may likely believe in Catholicism, not because of like, oh, it's like the best thing ever, but probably
Listen,
more
I
rather
agree.
you're more of a product of your situations, just like I'm a product of my situation. Like, let's be honest, I probably would not be an atheist, right? If the world was extremely antagonistic in the Western world to atheists, right? Like I can't openly be atheist, right? If people would kill me for being atheist, right? I would probably just say, okay, yeah, I'm not an atheist.
So, Mender, I agree with you. I mean, I don't think this is a hot take. I'm not disagreeing with you. All I was trying to make a joke was that we weren't like the people that were native to Uruguay weren't really converted. They were just killed. There was no,
Of course
there
they
was
were
no
converted.
missionary-
What do you mean?
No, a lot of them were.
Yes,
not. A lot
I
of them were-
literally just explained to you that they were directly converted. Do you need a source? Are you serious?
Mender, the Charrugas were.
That was
exterminated.
only for the Charrua, but that's not the case for the Guarani, and that's not the case for a majority of the people that
Guarani are not
managed to
native
survive.
Uruguay. But we're talking about native Uruguayans, and the Charrugas are the indigenous people of the Uruguay.
What, the Guarani are
Villa de
also indigenous people to Uruguay. What do you mean?
No, they're not. The
Yes, they
Charrugas
are.
were the main dominant indigenous. So please, I would like you to link that source. The one where it says the Guarani are the native people are also another major native group in Uruguay. Because the Charruga are the dominant native indigenous group. That doesn't mean that there weren't other natives. I'm just saying Charrugas are the indigenous Uruguayans, right? We don't call Argentinians.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I'll give you that, right? They were like the Charrua are the major one. I agree with you.
To be completely honest, we could still the result is still the same, whether or not like it's not a.
I'm saying that you're likely a product of your environment, right? And to me,
yeah, no, like I agree with you. Honestly, it's all based off of a joke I was making. I was making a joke of like Spanish colonialism, and you took it like I was trying to argue about something. It's not.
I don't know what
Trust
you're
me,
trying to
I'm not.
argue at this point. I really don't.
I'm not. I made a joke.
Okay.
I made a joke that the Spanish just killed people instead of just converting them, and you focused too much on the joke. It was not completely serious. I'm not making a full claim. I'm a historian. I would know not to just make a claim like that without any evidence. But even so, even if there were other people, the Charruga, majority of them, were exterminated, right? That doesn't mean that no missionary converted them. A lot of them did. And a lot of those Charrugas were then integrated into colonial societies as well. This is why there are people like myself, because through my dad does have native Charruga in him, right? My mom does not. My mom is a product of Spanish and Italian colonial settlers coming in. My dad is actually descendant from native Charrugas, right? And from native Brazilian. I don't remember what specific group it was, though. I would have to come back to you on that, but I don't think this is fairly an interesting conversation.
All right. Well, I don't agree with the ethics of Christian ethics. I think it's
Like
wrong.
I said, we're gonna agree to disagree. Yeah, I'll just we'll just have to do it like that. And I guess Daniel, I forgot what the last point we were talking about, but if you want to ever talk more about that, I'm so down to do that. But I'm pretty sure we completely forgot where we're at. Okay, guys. Well, I'll let you guys go. Yeah, well, I'll let you guys go. Okay?
All right. Well, hold on. Before you go, I got a shower thought for you. I got a shower thought.
Shower thought next.
Yeah, it's a shower thought.
Oh God. No, I don't like that.
All right.
Wait, did the Charugas have showers or?
Well, it's a shower thought for him. Somebody gave me this
think
shot,
so.
but it's a shower thought, total shower thought. So, why?
Specifically for me? Or?
Yeah, it's for you, Dylan. Why would God go out of his way to put the go button in the bum for guys? I want to know.
For the
You want to know
men?
my hypothesis?
What is your answer, Amanda?
For the same reason why God would put the tree of knowledge right in the middle. Right in the middle of Eden. He's just like, come on. Come on. Do it. Do it. You know you wanna.
Oh my God! Come on, you want it?
All right. Okay. Now I want to know, why would God go out of his way to put the go button in the bum for guys? That's a legitimate question.
That's a legit question. I mean, it's the same thing as like people saying, "Does the Bible allow you to have anal sex?" Because a lot of people actually take it. No, wait. I don't know if I can talk about this, but I'm just not gonna even mention it no more. But the Bible doesn't specifically say you can't do that. It says that you can have vaginal. It doesn't say you can't have anal. But this is a lot of people. A lot of people today actually make that case and say that having it through the bum is
It kind
okay.
of does though, right? Because you say if a man lies with another man like it lies with a woman, they should be stoned. So that's literally, but it's only anal sex between men.
The Bible never says
It doesn't say
that a
anything
guy
about
can't take it
anal
up
sex
the bum.
between a man or a woman.
I mean, it's not like pegging or something like that is considered to be wrong in the eyes of the church. What you do in your bed is all up to you.
There is no way pegging is acceptable. I will ask an Orthodox priest, hey, is pegging okay? There's no freaking way that guy's gonna be like, oh, pegging? Oh, it's based.
Wait, but why?
Based?
Why?
Based and pegging pilled?
Right. If the Bible says not to lie with another man like you would a woman, but what if you lie with a woman and she pegs you? Whoa.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like it doesn't say anything about.
Sounds like a
anal sex with
good
woman,
Saturday.
right? So it's like you can have anal sex, but between a man and a woman, and also pegging. If a woman pegs you, it's not a man doing it, right? So it's like it's still okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Yo, if they're married,
I would. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
I mean, is it really a carnal desire at that point?
I mean,
No, it's not.
okay,
No.
okay. So when it comes to pegging, that's not actually sex,
By
because
the
you're
way,
not
I'm
using
gonna get
your
yelled
like
at.
penis,
I'm gonna
right?
get yelled at by Anthony by agreeing to this because I may be wrong, but I'm gonna say yes because I'm not gonna even accept it. I swear I will convert to another.
Yeah, you're gonna
religion.
receive a visit from God's angel tonight.
He's gonna be like,
Yeah, I just wake up and see
bro, did
Gabriel.
you
Gabriel
just
says,
agree with
no, no, no,
Amender
no.
If you
that pegging's
feel like
okay?
somebody's pegging you in the middle of the night,
No.
that's Gabriel. Okay.
So we started with.
There's a reason why they call him Gabriel.
Gabriel.
By the way, just want to make sure we know this. We started with RFK and Trump's
Yeah.
Gaza.
Yeah.
We got to Christian ethics, then Christian decisions,
Yeah.
then the extermination of Charugas and Catholicism in Latin
Yeah.
America.
We're
and
just gonna call this entire
Angel-
this is a whole debate that is Christian ethics good.
We ended with the angel Gabriel.
That's gonna be it.
showing
Is
up
Christian ethics
at night.
good?
to tell me in the bum is bad.
Gabriel. You need to put the accent
Gabriel.
properly.
Yeah.
Gabriel. This is very funny.
All right.
But thank you so
Well,
much, Amanda, for having the
Yeah, no problem.
I'll try another time maybe to convince you, but I don't think I'm
Yeah.
going to be
Good,
having much luck with it.
good talk, Dylan. Good talk.
See ya.
All right, that was woo, that was wild. Big
That was
long
long.
one. That was long, but you know,
Big, long
honestly,
one.
not bad. That was not a bad
Not bad. Not
discussion. We got Gabriel. All right. Anyway,
bad. Yes.
we do have somebody who's got their hand up, so we're gonna go ahead and let them up. Magus, you're being requested to speak.
Hey, what's up?
What's up? What's up? What's up? All right, give me 1 second, okay?
Okay.
Magus, you're being requested to speak. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty shitty, but that's not the point. I was actually, I was listening to you when you were going on about like this helping for third world and with like money for these countries so they can eat. Like, I'm actually not a big fan of the support bread for the world. I mean, just by giving them food, it's not help to these people. We just like increase the suffering because we just feed them, and when they become adults, they start reproducing, and then like we have double feed them and so on, so on. I mean, what they need is infrastructure. What they need is like to learn like to stand on their own foot.
Yeah, but also, it's not really people's choice to not be able to farm in Gaza. Right?
I mean, no one forced them like to stay
Like
there.
they can stand on
leave.
their own feet. No, they are kind of forced to be there.
So you tell me they have
Egypt
like,
won't
not
accept
the
them. No,
not the chance, like-
and Israel won't accept them. All the countries around them will not accept them. So yeah, they are forced to be there.
Wait, I thought, why they not accept them? I thought like they're all brothers and sisters in their beliefs.
I don't know. You have to ask them.
It's
So
probably like
not really their
Muslim is
choice.
Not equal Muslim.
yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I thought like you were going like generally about Africa and everything. I was like Gaza is like probably a special case for itself, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sadly, no planes going out of Gaza. Right.
why not building a railway?
Really, I mean, what needs to happen right now is food.
I don't know if that's
Hot take.
solving the problem.
Really? I think that solves a pretty immediate problem. Like lack of food. What do you think this is?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
All right, man.
I mean, Magnus,
I mean, but
it's
Gaza,
like imagine
Gaza
you're
isn't my-
starving.
Gaza isn't my beer anyway. That was not our.
Yeah,
what
but
I was wanting to
imagine
talk
you're
about.
starving, Magnus. Imagine you're starving, right?
Okay.
And I'm coming to you, and instead of giving you like a burger so you don't die, I'm saying, "Oh my God, Magnus, I need to teach you how to farm right now while you're starving."
I mean,
Do you
would be
think that
great
would
if you would
help
give
you?
me
They'd
Or
be
maybe
do you
like-
think that would be like
they'd be
useless?
like
maybe a bait and a root, and I can
uh,
fish for myself would be great. So
they'd be like-
I'm not used to you for food.
you
I mean,
destroyed
you're in the
my
desert,
farm.
right? Because you're in Gaza.
Oh,
You
they're
destroyed
not-
the
they're not
farm.
on the ocean?
The farm is destroyed.
Yeah, they have an ocean direct in front of them. with a
Yeah.
lot of
Also,
fish.
you destroyed the farm.
How many?
Like
how
there
many
was
boats
food,
do you
and then
think-
there wasn't food. Like what?
How many
Yeah, then-
how many fishing boats do you think Gaza has?
Then give them a boat and give them an angle and send them
How many
fishing.
boats do you think Gaza would need in order to feed the entire population? I mean, assuming they could
wild.
only survive on fish. Okay, we're gonna assume they can survive just on fish. How many boats do you think they would need?
I kind of want to hear Asel talk to
probably a lot
Magus
of
on
both.
this. I actually want to hear Asel talk to Magus. I want to. Asel, are you willing to come on up for this? This is a nightmare. I can't believe that this is even remotely acceptable. Asel, you there?
He don't wants to come
He's
up.
typing.
It's okay.
He's having breakfast. He can't. Fair enough.
I mean,
You don't see like what you're saying is like really freaking gross?
I never said that like it's ethical. I never said that's like
What's not
like
ethical?
good what I'm saying. But I think it's not solving the problem at all.
What? Right now there's a food problem. Right? The problem is a food problem. You with me?
Yeah, maybe for Gaza, yeah.
Great. Amazing. We came to the conclusion that people deserve food.
I mean, I was
Locally.
mainly going about Africa, but yeah, for Gaza, probably.
Also,
Let's
it,
give them
it
some food.
favors the United States to offer aid to all across the world. We're the largest economy in the world for a reason. Again, I just feel like Donald Trump is not smart, and I think he's out for himself. And it would not surprise me if he's receiving money from foreign agents to bolster his own accounts at the detriment to the United States. It would not surprise me. Every single action he seems to be making seems to allude to that. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah,
No,
then
if
I
it,
w- I will
if
be
it looks
down.
like a duck, quacks like
See
a
you.
duck, gotta be a duck.
Actually, I actually don't care about people in Gaza.
Why?
It's pretty far away, and I mean,
Gotcha. So what if it was happening to like you and your family? Can you sympathize with that maybe?
if it would happen in my country.
Yeah.
You mean like if people were starving here?
Yeah.
Then it's a problem of my
Right. And if
country,
if
then
like
my
I
country
as
has to solve it.
American said, well, you know, like even though that everything is completely decimated in Germany, right? And there's millions of people that are starving to death, I should just say, Germany, stop being lazy. You should farm. You see the problem?
I mean, I would. I mean, if something like that.
You would see it
hit
like
Germany, I would-
very
I
offensive,
would
right?
leave.
Like something
I
like
would
that.
leave. I would leave. I would leave.
Well, yeah, but you can't leave. Right?
But
we're
I
gonna
can.
we're gonna
I have two
compare.
citizenships.
Here's the problem, right? All the planes and all the roads, there's no way out. Right? Let's just
probably
play.
there's
Let's
a
just
green
play the
border.
same exact situation that Gaza
Yeah, there's a
Gaza
green
citizens
border.
have.
How people did it
right?
in World War II. There's a green border.
I'm just saying that if I applied the same situation,
I would just jump in the river and swim over.
you're
People did it
you're not figuring it out. You don't get it. No sympathy. You're just like trying to come up with like ways around it, but like the reality is these people need help. Right? And saying, "Oh, you just suck," you farm is incredibly insensitive.
But this actually happened in Germany, right, Magnus?
I know.
Oh yeah.
Almost the same-
Oh yeah.
almost the same thing.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna teach you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna teach you a bit of
All right.
history of your country.
Progressive-
I
After
know.
World
I
War
know.
Hold
it
on,
happened
so-
in West
After World
Berlin,
War
and it
II,
happened
Real
after
quick,
the war.
real quick. We
Stop.
have somebody who wants to join in on this progressive potpourri.
You're not
I'm going to bring
telling
in
me anything
progressive.
new. I know it already happened.
Yeah.
Well, I
All right.
mean,
Yeah, yeah.
it's so like you say you can just leave, but like do you have the actual like ability to leave your country? Like, could you buy a plane ticket and like leave? Right? You can, right? Like people in Gaza can't. Like, I mean, they have their homes, they have their whole lives there.
I mean,
they can't. just pack
that
up
may
and leave.
surprise you. That may surprise you. But we are born with something that's really fascinating. It's completely fascinating. But we are born with something. It's called feet, and
Yeah,
we can
feet.
not only
So-
stand on
so-
them,
so-
we can also walk with them.
So, two options. You either stay put and potentially starve, or you can make the probably certain death trek over like an active war zone, right? Like, I don't really see how you can just walk through an active war zone. Because like Israel's shown to be super considerate about civilian casualties. So like I'm really confused in how that feat could really help you move, I guess. Like, I feel like this is just kind of a devil's advocate position. Like, this isn't really a fair point to take, I guess. Because, like...
What?
Because, like, Mahomie, it's an active war zone. They can't just leave.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you're aware of like World War II, but people were actually leaving Germany over the green border to like countries like Switzerland.
Yeah,
They were crossing rivers and forests and everything.
yeah, because they were able to. The corridor to Switzerland wasn't an active war zone. The Allies were pretty nice to all the Germans. If you go to like Eastern Prussia and you go over to like all those places, the Soviets were just butchering people. So
Yeah, they had
like,
to run. I know. I have someone in
Yeah,
my
they had to
family
run,
who
yeah.
actually married into my family, but he's already dead. But he was burying his own parents with his bare hands in frozen ground while they were running away from the Russian army.
Yeah, and tons of them died, and a ton of them just stayed put because they calculated that they would have a better possibility of staying put than running away. And I guess a lot of Gazans have the same exact like thought process, that they should just stay put instead of potentially being taken out by like an airstrike or something.
I mean, it's pretty sad for these people, but I don't see like on the long run, how does it like actually help this region to become like stable and like become like independent from these resources from other countries.
Well, they were stable and independent.
I mean, like, homie, Israel wasn't really doing too hot, and they got a ton of foreign support, and they're a modern Western, like, nation now. So, you know, Germany, remember Germany, how it was in absolute shambles? They got a ton of foreign support, and Germany's now a modern Western nation with a powerhouse of an economy.
I mean,
like-
actually, if I would have the money, I would have sent probably some money to Israel, but
How do you say that?
Like-
that's not what we.
I mean, like, it's the thing is like it's kind of a two thing. Like, the people there need to be
Wild.
able to like, people need to be able, like, in the country need to like make the country a better place, but they also kind of need help, like a lot of help. You can't just expect them to do it all by themselves, because like Gaza doesn't really have heavy industry. You can't really just make heavy industry out of nowhere, or like create farms out of like the 0.5% of the arable land there, like to feed the, how many people live in Gaza? It's in like the couple millions.
1.8 million right now.
Yeah,
There used
you
to
can't
be
just, like-
2.3 million.
You can't just like feed all those people in like a couple months. They're gonna need some kind of help. They're gonna need fertilizer. They're gonna need tractors. They're gonna need the like knowledge to do it, and a lot of that stuff is imported in.
Just like, I just asked myself where all these Muslim brothers and sisters who are helping their, claiming
Yeah.
like they're
You
still
know who was
religious and
doing the
helping their own
same
people.
thing? It's like there was a moment when there was like another group of people that were trying to flee some sort of persecution, and they couldn't because they weren't allowed, by their brothers and sisters from other places. And some other people were like, why they don't just why don't they just go, right? They should leave that place that is persecuting them.
Oh, they
that
actually
group was
had.
called
They
the
actually had.
Jews.
They had.
Yes,
they had a
that group was
chance.
called the
They had
Jews.
A chance. They had
No,
a
they
chance
didn't,
to leave. I
actually.
mean, most of them were leaving when like.
Well, actually, no. If
And-
you're
and
actually
Poland,
really curious about it,
specifically.
there were literally boats that were turned away, like for example, by the American government, right? When Jews were trying to leave Nazi Germany, right? A lot of other countries around Germany were not allowing Jews to emigrate to them.
I mean,
And it wouldn't have mattered because
we took
then
as many.
Germany
We
just,
we took as many as we could in Switzerland. Like we took as
I mean,
many
you
people
are
as
a German,
possible.
so yeah. As I said earlier, it's like it depends.
I mean,
what
my
it is, like-
grandfather on Swiss side
Yeah.
was actually spending like, with 5 years old, he
Yeah.
had to sleep in a bathtub because they were giving their bed to a refugee.
Okay, and did he say it was a bad thing that he had to do that, or do you think he said it was a good thing for him to?
I'm
do
not sure. I mean, like he was not pretty happy about
didn't
his
ask him?
family where he grew up.
Oh, okay. Okay,
since they were like the father.
But
Like
again,
his
it's like you
his
just need to
stepfather.
go
His
through.
stepfather was like
Yeah,
someone
but
like
you
from
just
the
need to
Communist
go to
Party.
history, and you're gonna the exact same talking points you're having right now. Why aren't they just leaving? Why are other people taking them? They might just be like just bad people. That's why nobody wants to take them in. You know, those are the exact same talking points other people were having about Jewish people in 1930s and 1940s. Okay, when they were trying to flee persecution and genocide. So I don't think it's a very good talking point to have, like at all. Because
I don't know. It's
it's
just like
these are just talking points meant to dehumanize groups of people and just make it look like they're less than other groups of people.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
100%.
Like,
do you
we
mean
have to
you
look
think
at these
so?
people. Like, we have to look at these people, and we can't just look at the people that are like bombing them and like, oh, that's not their fault. It's their people. It's the people that are getting bombed. It's their fault. They're lazy. They can't. Why don't they just leave? Why don't they just like do something when they just don't have the ability to? Like, that's a very not.
I mean, they could have
productive,
started like they
argument.
could have started with like not putting Hamas in charge or put not supporting like or celebrating the attack on Israel. I mean, was pretty clear how that is gonna end.
Mm-hmm. So do you think like people in the Warsaw Ghetto, when they did the Warsaw Ghetto uprising, and then they were slaughtered after that, do you think like when it happened, do you think they should have been celebrating, or they should have said, "Oh my God, don't attack the Nazis," you know, because they might just
I'm
retaliate?
pretty sure
against
there
us?
were actually a lot of people who were saying like don't attack them since
No,
they
but
were
like, do you think
expecting
that
a
was the
certain
vast
reaction.
majority of people there? Do you think the vast majority of people in the Warsaw Ghetto were saying it's like, "Oh my God, we shouldn't have these people in charge that want to attack the Nazis that are killing us"?
I would say like the Nazi situation is way different.
Is way different in what sense?
Different time, different measures, different
Oh, he
options,
just
way
took.
lesser
Oh,
options.
okay.
No, the
It
difference
just took
is
place in a
that one of
different
them
time.
affects the Germans and the other ones affect these other people that aren't German. It's pretty different if you think about it, right? Because like you can empathize with one, but you can't empathize with the other because, you know, you're not the other.
They were not as
That's
brown.
that's what's so
you know?
different.
That's the thing.
Yeah, they're not as brown. I mean,
Whoa, whoa,
it's true.
whoa, whoa,
They're
whoa,
not
whoa,
as brown.
whoa, bro. That has
Oh,
nothing to do
we're drawing
with
the line
someone
at
being
brown.
This
brown
is
or not.
yeah. This doesn't have anything to do with being brown.
Nope.
What if they looked white?
Yeah, what they were like.
How do you
blue
determine
eyes,
that
you know,
somebody
blonde
is
hair.
is Islamic if they're a Muslim? How do you do it typically? What do you do? Like you're walking down the street.
Hmm.
You're walking down the street.
Yeah.
How do you determine them to be
How to determine that the German is Muslim? Oh,
Yeah.
That's pretty easy.
how? Why don't you tell me?
How? It's pretty easy. It's really pretty easy.
Yeah, yeah.
Most of them who convert are pretty radical. So
Yeah.
most of them in Germany wearing actually the traditional like robes and
Yeah.
this traditional head cover
Yeah.
and having a really long beard and
Mm. So the clothes
And
and the
what else?
beard and yeah.
And the what? And what else do you
Yeah.
think?
Is them being brown a factor?
no.
No, not at all.
No.
So if they look perfectly white, then you'd be like, that's a Muslim right there.
Yeah. How many of those with blue hair, blue eyes, and
Here.
blonde hair have you seen?
There you have it. Like the
Let's
German
see.
Muslim.
Let's see. I want to see. Oh my God! Look at the blue eyes and the blonde hair this guy has.
Yes,
I mean,
actually
he seems
orange
pretty
hair.
brown to me, if you know, right?
He is white. He's white as white.
He's white. I don't know, man. It's like
Bro,
I'm looking at it. You just send it. It's like, I mean, the background he's talking against, that's white. Okay, he's literally talking against a white background. He doesn't seem that white to me.
Okay, wait. I get another picture. I get another picture.
Oh look, Azil put you know, somebody there. Might even be him. He seems a bit
What a cute baby.
brownish. He's a good baby.
I mean, it seems like that you need some glasses, since you were claiming. Wait, I downloaded the picture. Where is it?
Ace the fake.
Where did it land? I know that lands somewhere. It should have landed in that folder. Here's it. Here. Is that guy to you actually brown? I mean, I don't know, like, how good your glasses are, but
I guess
that
he's
seems
white
right.
looking.
I actually
Brown
have
to me.
2020 vision. I mean,
That
he's,
dude
he's
is
in
not
very
brown at
direct
all.
sunlight, you know. I don't know. Maybe I think, dude, he's more brown than I am. I can tell you that for sure.
Bro, he's a fucking ginger.
No, okay. So what? It's like you've never seen like gingers from other, you know, like brown gingers. Must have some Irish in him.
The most converted Germans are, they're looking like they go like the complete like traditional way, you know?
Oh my god.
They clothe themselves like as close as possible to the idol picture of being a Muslim.
Yeah.
Most of them, by the
I
way,
don't think
actually
you're really
joining,
understanding,
the
I guess, the
radical,
point that we're
most
trying.
of
That I'm
them
trying.
actually joining the radical movement of the Salafists, which are, most of them are on the watch list here of our Constitution Protection Service.
That's very
Most
good. If
of
they're
them.
extremists, they should be.
Fuck.
But don't you think actually saying that, you know, if you're brown, you should get down, shouldn't that be like an extreme position also?
What? Please again.
So I'm just saying is because you've made these claims like, yeah, I don't care about people in Gaza, right? For example.
Yeah.
And don't you think that's like a very extremist position too?
What, that I don't care?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not celebrating their death. I'm not happy about their death.
I
or
didn't say
anything.
you do.
just-
I didn't say you do. I was literally just literally talking about your position of saying I don't care about them. Don't you think that's kind of like an extremist position too?
A little
Because
bit, maybe.
we are kind of like human beings, right? And it's like I think we have this thing called humanity, and we keep talking about our humanity. Isn't our humanity kind of telling us it's like, I mean, it's good to help like your fellow human being?
To a certain extent.
To a certain extent. And that extent is what, like your personal.
Well, some people deserve the human rights, but
what?
others don't deserve the human rights. Right?
So if I
mean,
don't
like-
feel like it today, I'm not gonna extend like my humanity.
This is wild.
No, like
other
see, like
people, or-
like if I would like let's make the example I took for train, okay? And I would see like a black guy or a brown guy or a brown woman. I would see someone like falling. I would help them up. I would help them up because like it's civil and it's like polite to help someone up. But I would not like ask my fellow citizens, I say not say Germans, I say citizens, probably with migration background or not, would ask them to spend some of their taxes to support another country and their problems.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't want to support another country when they're suffering? Even if you're capable?
I mean, bro, it's already crazy how much money in Germany like goes out for supporting a ton of countries.
What? It's a good thing that Germany does that.
If you believe so.
So you're seeing it as a net negative? That Germany is doing that?
I just think it's like a waste of money.
I
It's a
totally
waste of
disagree.
money.
I mean, but I think by a lot of
What-
things what we do here is a waste of money.
How much do you think a human life costs?
Where?
Well, it's a waste of money. I mean, don't want to waste our money, right? So we really should figure out how much a human life is worth. We don't plan on
Yeah, I
wasting
know, I
our
mean,
money.
No, I mean, was asking like
Yeah.
where?
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me speak, by the way.
Yeah, no problem,
I mean,
Progressive.
no. If we would support someone who needs like social money in Germany, they would probably need something around 1,500 euros a month. I think it's totally okay. If we would support someone like he was living like,
Why not?
Wait, weren't
we're,
you?
we're
weren't you
dude,
Swiss?
bro. We're
Now you're
talking
German
about
suddenly?
I'm
just
both. I'm
basic
both.
provide assistance, right? Like food.
I mean, it's just if it's just like just once sending food down to guys, I wouldn't see a problem with that. I mean,
Just once.
yeah,
Just
for a
seems so
certain period of
bizarre,
time.
like the way that you're operating this.
I think we have way bigger problems in our own country to solve first.
Like what?
And do you think they're mutually
I
exclusive?
mean, you think that you can
solving
like
your
do
problem
multiple
and the
things,
other
maybe?
Like probably the corruption who led it to like a project like Stuttgart 21, where they building a train station to replace the most successful and on time main train station we ever had, with a train station that has an angle of 7.2 promille, and which is so dangerous that it will never be used, but we're gonna spend 12 billion.
Hey,
euros
bro,
on
do you
that.
think that like you could do both of those things? You think governments are capable of more than
Maybe.
one thing? Oh, okay, cool. Based.
Maybe? I mean,
Based.
I just
So
like
you can help things abroad and at home, right? Benefits your geopolitical interests, and it benefits you locally.
no, I'm just saying like we should maybe fix first.
Like I
our own
promise you, the
problems and then
food thing
fixing
is
other
probably
people's
a lot
problems.
cheaper than. Yeah, it's probably a lot cheaper than the second thing you mentioned.
I mean, I don't know if you're aware, like, well, why will you like spend money and sending to these countries? I mean, I don't know if you're aware of like that Turkey is actually blackmailing Europe, and with the refugees, they keep the refugees out of Europe, and therefore Europe is paying them billions of euros.
Okay,
And it seems like
they're providing a
no
service.
problem. I mean,
Yeah, so like they do
Providing a
things that
service.
help other countries, right? And then they ask for things in benefit in return, right? It's pretty classic
I mean, like,
negotiation.
yeah,
Right? That's typically what
I mean,
happens.
they literally built a wall like in Turkey, like they literally like do everything to keep the refugees from passing Turkey towards Europe, and I think like that's such a double standard. I mean, like
Yeah.
if it would be really about helping others, then we would need to stop shit like that.
Well, I mean, you realize that when you help others, you can kind of ask for concessions. It's called leverage.
Maybe just I'm
Especially
just
for
not a big fan
negotiation.
of Gaza.
Yeah, I can tell.
I'm sorry
Gotcha.
for being an awful human being.
You got anything else?
Nope.
All right. Appreciate you coming up. Wow. All right.
Yeah, that was a thing that happened. Do you think we should help other people, Amanda?
No. Only me.
Oh, that's what I said.
Only
What?
me. I'm the most important.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't want to help other. I want. If everyone's suffering around me and I'm doing good, then that's fine.
That's a net positive, right? Yes.
Mind you, right? Like
That's how the
as
world
if
should
like
function.
people in Gaza doing like well for themselves wouldn't effectively benefit other countries as well, because it's like Right now, they're not really a trading partner at all. They can't contribute whatsoever to the economy, right? Like trade cannot happen, right? You think that Gazan citizens have nothing to offer? Like, of course they do. Every country has something to offer. It's ridiculous. And that's like just looking at it from like strictly, yeah, I mean, that's like strictly looking at it from a super selfish point of view where it's like, oh, I have something to gain from them, right? Like in reality, what's probably more interesting is that, hey, we should treat people as humans and we should try to like help people as much as we can. That's wild. I don't know.
It is. I mean,
we still got about 6 more minutes. If somebody wants to raise their hand right now, if they have anything to say about that, now is your time if you want to raise your hand. I'm having a hell of a time in this game. This is a hard game.
Yeah, I can see.
Shut up.
Shut up.
I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear your bullshit. All right.
Well, I need to play it too. I'm gonna try to play it to see how hard
it's
it is.
Fun. It's fun. Honestly, it's not that hard. But you know, I keep running out of lives, which is, you know, that's typical.
I mean, it's
of
like
these
I need to show
Super Nintendo games.
I need to see how big the level of incompetency in that game it is that you're showing, that you're displaying.
Maybe I am totally incompetent. This is
you need to get good.
No, for sure, I do need to get good.
Dude, imagine. Do you remember when you told me about the Nintendo hotline?
We got Aesel who would like to speak. We're gonna bring Aesel in. Hold on, come on up.
Oh, he's here.
Hey, Aesel, how you doing? You're muted, by the way.
Hello, First Amanda and Daniel.
All right, Aesel, give me a quick second, okay?
Okay.
Aesel, you're being invited to speak. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing?
Great. What would you like to talk about?
First of all, I would like to thank you and Daniel Hugh who do these segments on the MDD.
I appreciate that.
It's a net positive to all of us and do give some insight to people. You know, it's like teaches people like things they didn't know about, left and all that. You know.
Yeah, you know, I've heard all sorts of people telling me that there is no famine, which I'm just like, what? Like, yeah, there is. Like, what do you mean? Of course there is.
Yeah, there's some, like, I would say like a lot too. I would not even say some. I would say a lot to like show like how can I say this? Understand the other person's perspective and where he's coming from, you know, and not to have sympathy but to have empathy towards someone's position. It's like trying to put yourself in their shoes and try to see the world from their lens, you know?
No, for sure. I mean, honestly, I find it pretty upsetting that like, I don't know, people have been, I don't know, like really apathetic towards it, which is like, I'm just like, we're talking about like human lives, right? Like listen, I'm just going to be honest with you, Aesel. I don't like Islam. I don't like the religion of Islam. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth. But then again, I don't like any religion, right? But I don't see like the problem is like Gazan children. They didn't necessarily choose. They're a product of their environment. In my, well, I mean, I guess like some people who are Muslim might say that they're born that way, but that's not how I see it at all. And so because I see it that way, I go, well, we don't really want to incur suffering for no reason. Right. And it's like, you know, like the October 7th attacks were horrible and Israel should seek recompense for that. But Israel is obviously orders of magnitude in the level of aggression that they are towards it. And it's really terrible that I see people like kind of defending it. Right. And this is where I say that like I am I'm okay with Israel. I'm anti Netanyahu. Right, Netanyahu is a monster, right? And he's
exactly. I'm not gonna say, hey, let's kill all Jews. I don't think all Jewish people are quote unquote automatically just bad for like what Israel is doing. You know, I would not say even like all Israelites are bad for their doing. I would just say they have like one leader who like just showing the way there. Like,
Oh my God. Athlete of the Year just said Trump got a new Gaza video that was real motivational and inspiring. Looked nice. And I had a segment about this Athlete of the Year and you missed it. But basically we went over that. And the problem is that you literally want to make a Vegas 2.0 when people right now are starving. Why not start with step 0? Feed people, right? Step 0. Let's not focus on, hey, how do we make money out of this, right? And let's focus on, hey, let's like try to help people. Like, do you understand? They're starving. Like, this isn't funny. I sat there and I showed the famine. The famine is happening. It's happening today, right? 2025. And sitting there seeing malnourished children, when I see Donald Trump sitting there saying, hey, let's make it a casino like place. Let's make it like Vegas 2.0 is one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen. I don't find that video inspiring at all. I find it completely devoid of reality. Donald Trump is a moron, as always. And have you seen this video, Aesel?
yes,
It's horrendous. I hate it.
it's fucking stupid. It's
It is
dumbass
stupid.
devoid.
It is really dumb. It's like a complete disconnect from reality.
Leave that alone. Did you see that video when he didn't when like all the countries voted to like end the war in Ukraine, but the US
Wait, what?
voted against?
Day one, he'll end the war.
No, he did not. Okay, fuck it. Muslim bad. You know, Muslim people are bad. Okay, I'll take it. No problem. Like, why didn't they accept the, what do you call this? Like, the United Nation, like that offer for peace? Everyone else said yes. But the United States.
Oh, there were actually 4 countries. Okay, so it was the United States, it was Russia, North Korea, and Iran. Okay,
Jesus.
so you need to understand who the US is friends with right now. Okay,
I don't understand it. I think like Mega
Athlete of the Year says, am I still in chat? Yes, you're in chat.
Megas I think wants to come back again. I think he wants to talk about the Gaza and the Israel. Magnus wants to come back.
All right. Come on in, but we're wrapping up. Go ahead.
I was rethinking. I think there is a proper solution to deal with all of that. It would probably need the same thing what they did with Germany after World War II. They would need to occupy the whole region and re-educate the people. That is probably the only solution.
So
there's
help them?
peace incoming.
Food, maybe? Food sounds pretty
Yeah,
cool.
food, everything, education,
Food sounds
everything.
based. Whoa, based. Holy shit, we're figuring it out.
Yeah, but you need the presence of foreign troops. You need like a completely educational program
Whoa.
to like distance these people from like radical beliefs.
I don't mind. Do that.
Yeah, I mean, as long as people aren't suffering as much, yeah, all for it.
Yeah, I don't mind.
You need to dismantle the whole state around the Hamas, the civil arm and the military arm.
I don't know if
are
that's...
you okay for dismantling the apartheid state?
Apartheid state in which way?
In Israel, Israel is an apartheid state. They have some laws for some people and different laws for different people.
Mm-hmm.
That's what an apartheid is, right? Like just like in South Africa, but worse.
Yeah,
Gonna be the
why
same
not?
all around.
Why not? As long they make a re-education program.
Okay,
like,
that's cool.
to
We're making
teach
progress.
The people
Yeah, so no
way of life.
apartheid.
But it needs foreign troops to save peace.
Oh no, that's
And,
cool. So,
like-
but those troops, they can't be Israeli troops, right? So no IDF, like UN comes in, occupies the
Uh,
region and just
I
keeps
would
them
I would
apart,
not
right? It's
recommend
like
I would not recommend UN troops. I would recommend
whatever. It's like, it can be, like Blibli troops, right? We're just making up a name. It doesn't matter. It's like they're troops just there to keep the IDF from killing Palestinians and Hamas from killing Israelis, right?
yeah.
I don't
So
mind that.
everybody is gonna have equal rights, right? Okay, that's
And
cool.
a
I'm all
demilitarized
for that.
zone, a demilitarized zone,
Demilitarize
and
everything, not just zone. No, like everything. Demilitarize everything, right? It's
Yep.
like no military anywhere. It's like no IDF, no Hamas, no military, right? We're
Yeah,
just
take
like
all the guns. Take
for
everything.
20 years, no guns, okay? Until everybody's like at the same level. Dude, I'm all for it. Okay, just do
I
that.
would give
Let's
more,
stay.
more than 20 years. More.
Yeah.
Need more than 20
I'm
years.
just saying, make
to
it
get
40.
rid of the
I don't
radical
fucking care.
ideology from what we know.
I don't
from
care.
from Germany as example. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
what we
60
had like
years.
after the war
Dude,
was pretty much.
we're making it like the Third Reich. 1,000 years of the Third Reich is gonna be there, but
No, I
everybody's
think
gonna
like
have
what
rights.
it was like.
No, I'm just saying, like everybody's gonna have
45
rights
years.
and yeah, whatever you name it. Okay, but as long as there's no apartheid, as long as children don't starve to death, I'm all for it. But you know
But it
what
really
what that
needs
requires,
to
right?
dismantle
Do you know what?
the
Do you know what
harmful
it
beliefs.
requires? Because I'm gonna blow your mind, Magnus. Do you know what that requires?
A lot of money
Money from whom?
from everyone.
Like whom? Can you give me the example of a country that should be actually giving money towards that?
I think like all of the UN nations.
Yeah. Can you tell me a country that you're familiar with that is part of the UN? It
The
starts
US.
with G.
The US. The
It
US.
starts with G.
The US.
starts
They
with
have a lot
G.
of money. They are the richest country in
Yeah,
the world.
you-
Amanda is saying it
you know
all
who's the
time.
richest
They are
country in
the
Europe?
richest country.
Do you know who's the richest country in Europe?
Switzerland.
Germany.
Try again.
It's Germany, brother. Also, even if it's Switzerland too, cool. There's two rich countries in Europe.
Two rich
Switzerland
countries.
and
Sick.
Germany.
Based.
Nah, but
Yes,
forget
both of them
Switzerland.
should
Based.
give money.
Forget Switzerland. They make
Both
their,
of them
their
should
own
give
thing.
money. Yeah.
Ah.
No, they're not neutral anymore.
Switzerland is neutral.
No, they changed their stance of what neutrality means for them. I don't know if you noticed that.
What? Really? When?
Yes, really. Ever since this war in Ukraine, because like their stance is that if they're gonna be neutral, but if things happen like in Ukraine, they are going to support the side that is actually being attacked.
Yeah, I think that's a stupid decision.
Yeah, it's the same. The same goes for Norway, because Norway had the same thing, and Norway said the same shit.
It was always better to be neutral.
No, it's not.
Yes, trade with both sides.
No, it's not. I'm gonna
Yeah.
give you like
Trade
there
with the
was this
Nazis
quote-
and the
there was this
Americans.
quote-
Cool.
Yeah,
It's
there was this
based. Whoa,
quote
based.
in Nazi
Interesting.
Germany.
What?
I don't know if you remember it. It's like they first came for for the socialists, and I didn't do anything because I wasn't a socialist. And then they came for like the Christian Democrats, and I didn't do anything because I wasn't a Christian Democrat. And then they came for the Catholics, and I didn't say anything because I wasn't a Catholic, right?
Yeah.
And then they
Go
came
on.
for me, and there was nobody else around to say anything. Right?
Oh, that's
That's what
sad.
neutrality brings you. Neutrality just brings you one step closer to annihilation. You can't be neutral in the face of human suffering. Yeah.
That's your opinion.
Yes,
That's
of
a-
course. Yeah. But I think
Wait,
it's a
what?
very valid one. And I
I'm
think
not
it's more
judging your
valid
opinion.
than the opposite.
I'm not judging you for your opinion.
No, Magnus, but what do you mean that's your opinion? Like, I think that's a very not based normal take. Human suffering in general. It's not like, hey, Muslim suffering or like Israeli suffering or like white people, black people, stupid brown people. It's a general statement against human suffering.
You're so good, Amanda.
Shut up.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you see, this is the difference. It's like and Asil knows me. He knows I'm an atheist. Okay. Does that mean
No,
that
but
I
you
want?
don't. Don't be too mad.
I
But in the end of
I
the
wouldn't-
day,
I
in the
wouldn't-
end of the day, I only care about my people. I care about the people who are close to me and who
Yeah,
are
that's
meant
called
something to me.
tribalism. That is called tribalism, and it's yeah. I mean, I don't think it's fine to be tribalist, right? And I understand why this happens, but I think it's not okay for people to be tribalist, right? Because if you're being tribalist, what's gonna happen? Like when you're in need, other people will not help you.
Exactly.
Well, I'm
So
gonna-
like Magnus, let's say
Therefore, we have a social
Hold on.
safety
So I do have to wrap it up, but I want to give Aesol and Magnus the final say. Sorry for the burp. That was accidental.
You're good. You're good. So, Magnus, in general, I would not say let's only support the Palestinians and no, I think we should support all people all around, from the Palestinians to the Ukraine to the Indians. You know, like even in India, I don't know like why nobody's talking about it, but like a lot of children in India are like suffering too from the lack of food and all that.
Yeah,
You know,
but
I'm not gonna
that's
say, yo, I just like Muslims, so hence I would just provide to Muslims. No, I would say we need to do better and support everyone, all across the board. And that's my final take. Support humanity in general.
All right. And Magnus, go ahead.
I just think like that can't be the solution. I mean, like these countries have problems within their culture where they are like in India where they are like having 7 or 8 children and with just feeding them, like the next time you will have to feed 16 to 32 children, and you just like increase the population. It's like it's nothing done to end the suffering. You just increase it, like you double it each time. I mean,
Bro is
by
going
just, like,
full
giving-
Thanos snap, bro.
there need changes to be within these states and within these cultures.
There's too many people.
You're laughing, but we got like
Yeah,
I don't know if
because
you're aware
because
of
it's
that, but we
like
were
you're
at the
literally
beginning- we
doing
were
a
at the
Thanos snap
beginning of the-
argument. Like what?
At the beginning of the 20th century,
Oh
we
my
were
God.
1.2 billion people on this world, and now we are 8 billion.
Yeah,
within
it'll
100
taper
years.
off. It's okay. It's okay. Tapers off. It's fine.
I just say it. It's
So what you're saying is like there should be less people, so we should just remove like, for example, Germans, right, from the pool.
yeah, why not?
What is happening?
But before you start, like let me get rid of my antidepressants, then it's easier.
Yes. You should go back to the meds.
See you.
Yes, you-
It's fucking wild, bro.
Yeah, well, a bit, I would say.
God, dude, stupid fucking.
Yeah, I mean, it's like.
Anyway,
do you
this
want-
has
do you
been
want some
the
horses?
sensible argument. And so we are going to end it on that note, that very bizarre note. But join me every Thursday. There I am, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I bring in anybody who wants to talk. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, consider subscribing. I'm a very small YouTube channel, so I'm always trying to burgeon out and get a larger fan base. So if you liked what I did, consider